Hello everyone. Oh no, what is this? I need to fix myself. Oh, I know what I did. I used the wrong scene. There we go. Hello everyone. Welcome back into another stream. So for anybody who managed to catch my extremely scuffed stream the other night, I tried to start up a new playthrough of Elden Ring, but all of my OBS settings were super messed up because of everything relating to, what do we call it? HDR and that. And I went through a really long, arduous process of troubleshooting everything, and I've just come to the conclusion that it's not really worth having HDR for my purposes right now. So hopefully everything looks crystal clear for you guys, because it was definitely not crystal clear before. Let me go ahead and delete these things. So I'll just start over fresh from everything, I suppose. But anyway, before getting into all that, I want to welcome everybody back into the stream individually. So John, GDR5, nice to see you again. Tia Marillion, Anticipated, Florgeborge, Pony, Mr. Jigalag, Mercy, Galamoth, Hilko, Wade McGregor, nice to have all of you. And Drake. You still don't know what HDR is? So it's called high dynamic range. It essentially makes it so that way if you have like a high-end monitor which can support it, it'll make the blacks a lot darker and the colors pop a lot more. So I got a new monitor somewhat recently and it looks amazing, and I was just trying to have my footage more or less record what I can visually see, but that was a bit of a fool's errand. So this stuff might look a bit oversaturated to you guys, but this is kind of how it looks on my screen, at least. I should 100% try to fight John Vigor. It's definitely not perfectly optimized to not die. Okay. Do you picture me getting set up to stream in Gideon's outfit? I mean, I've got eyes and ears everywhere, right? Okay. So the last time I figured, because I'm just kind of doing this all on the fly, that it'd be kind of fun to do a Confessor build and do an assassin style gameplay, which I haven't done quite yet. So that's kind of what I figured we could work with. And then for the keepsake, we'll pick the Lands Between rune, because this is one of the only items that's like exclusive that you can miss out on, and it has lore on it. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Is the audio skipping? Is this a regular occurrence? Because this seems to happen at the beginning of my stream, but not too much later. Because if the audio is skipping, I might be able to fix some stuff, but it's a little bit rough. Hilko just got your Confessor up to 30. Nice. Wade asks, what do I think the best build for DLC will be? Whatever can carry you through. I feel like a lot of people can abuse things like Spirit Summons. It's clipping weirdly every now and then. Okay. Yeah, so the audio is not something that I balanced super well, because I had to do a fix before, which might not even be a necessary fix at this point anymore. So if I do have recurring issues, please let me know, because then I'll try to address them on the next stream. And if it gets to be unbearable, like if the game audio is very desynced from what I'm doing, let me know. But I think it should be fine. A Crucible Knight build? Yeah, that's going to be a really fun one for the DLC, I think. Alright, so I think because I'm in the game now, the audio in the game is going to be really low from my latent settings. So I'm going to bump it up for you guys a little bit.
The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwin the Golden was first to perish.
And it does bother me that we don't see Ronnie's corpse in this cutscene thing with Godwin.
Claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad.
I know a lot of people think it's Radahn being pinned by Morgoth, but I just disagree for multiple reasons.
Triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished.
Can you guys still hear the game audio if I do that? I think this might fix the issues.
The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all.
It's a bit low, but you can hear it? Okay, I can bump this up. It's low for me too. Well, this is the part where it actually gets loud, though.
Chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion.
I'm also really curious about that symbol on the sheet that Fia has.
And Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing.
And then Gideon's kind of surrounded by imps. One of them has his scepter, which is interesting. Yeah, definitely not the best spot to try to tune my sound to, but hopefully... Alright, if you guys can still hear the game audio, that's perfect. I think what I had going on last time, and I forgot to adjust it on the fly this time.
Whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring.
Alright, yeah, so I think the issue was I had it being routed
And
through my
become
desktop,
the Elden Lord.
as well as this auxiliary mic that I had to use to fix the delayed issues that I was getting. So now that I've turned off desktop audio for you guys, you should get the pure unadulterated game sound and the sound of my voice. Right, yeah. So I actually don't really play online very much because most of the time I'm playing outdated versions of the game. So are we ready? Sure. Not used to the actual PlayStation UI. Alright. So here we get what is presumably our maiden. We pillage its remains to get the tarnished wizened finger. I guess I should have also pointed out that you can't actually leave the door until you get the finger itself. It has like a weird dialogue that comes up. So yeah. Let's go ahead and check out our Lands Between rune. Also, I guess this part's silent. I was going to ask how the balance is. Let's check this out. HUD's off. All right, I'm gonna be a little bit hardcore with my playthrough. Or not hardcore. Yeah, so I'll play it HUDless, and I will just cheat and use things like spirit summons because I don't really care to, you know, ramp up the difficulty for the base game that I've played so many times at this point. All right, so sound effects, I kind of like it at 2. Hopefully the brightness is okay for you guys. We'll have to figure it out. Blackman, nice to see you again. And friend Alex, welcome back to the stream. Who do I think Fia's laying with? Just some nameless lord or someone important? Good question, Emily Aiden, and welcome back to the stream. I think it's just kind of a rando. She calls him like a noble or something like that. Which, you also use the same terminology which she uses to refer to Godwin, at least in the Japanese. But, yeah, Chapel of Anticipation. Holy crap, man. Elden Ring actually looks really freaking good on a 4K HDR display. This looks way better than on my PC. Even though it's PS5 right now. I guess I haven't really played it on this monitor on my PC, but okay. It's just, I see details. So like I was saying, I had to go through my color settings and everything. If you guys have watched Rick and Morty, it's kind of like that episode where Rick designs a perfectly level ground for Morty to step on. It's kind of what it feels like having such a high quality display and going back to other things. It feels like the world is crooked and out of sync. Yeah, true level, exactly. So that's kind of why like all of my stuff was really messed up before. It looks like my screen is a little bit dark for you guys. I'm gonna pump up brightness maybe? I don't even remember how to do it on here. Wait, what? Is that not an option for console? That's probably because of the HDR. Okay. So I guess, oh well, we'll deal with it. It looks pretty clean though, regardless. Grape Ape, welcome on in. If you want to be a god, I don't know what to tell you. So the cool thing, oh, I forgot to look at all the lore despite me saying, hey, let's look at the lore, guys. Not to scream. God, it was such a pain trying to kill this dude on day one. Because that scream screwed me up the most. I don't remember his moveset. Oh, I tried to dodge. Okay, so that killed me apparently, but... It does feel like there is always a bit of a substantial input delay for Elden Ring, which is kind of my biggest complaint about it. It doesn't feel as snappy as Sekiro or Bloodborne. Adjust image quality. Thank you, Chudboria, and welcome into the stream. I'll try to look at that again. Mikola riding Mikola? Okay.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side.
Does
We
Melina
found
not
him
have
here,
that ring on when she
after all.
burns herself? I don't think so. That was her right-handed ring finger, so not potentially.
One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
And I really am curious as to why Melina delivers this line that seeking the Elden Ring violates the Golden Order. So she seems to be much more in the know than we do about a lot of things. And of course, there's a little bit of extra insight about that with content with like Radagon having some description with the domain of Limgrave, Tenebrae technically. Which I guess Tenebrae, that could have been a reference to the Shadowlands before we even knew of the Shadowlands. Flask of Crimson and Cerulean Tears, y'all. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if it adjusts the image quality like you were saying. I'm blind though. Okay. That looks like it should be good for you guys. Of course, like this is probably one of the better areas to do this in because this is the darkest. All right, it looks really dark on my stream screen, so I'm going to pump it up for you guys, even though it's really not bad for me at all. Yeah, so obviously this spot is the worst. Do you guys have that artifacting going on the stream? Let me look. Okay, that sucks. Damn it, I'm not going to adjust that on the fly. I think I would just need to lower my gamma. But yeah, that's pretty rough. Okay. So I should have tested more of Elden Ring. I was testing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because of the things there. This doesn't have a golden seed. I knew it didn't in 1.0, but I figured it probably got it in retail. Anyway. Okay, you guys think that's the ring to summon Torrent? That would make a lot of sense. It's kind of hard to see if it's like got that little gap, but I thought it was more of a whistle than a ring. I guess why not both, right? Okay. Okay, so apparently if I'm not in like super black backgrounds, it looks fine. So I'm going to fight the Soldier of God, then I'll check out a lot of the lore items. Galamoth tried fighting Melina solo with the normal build and realized they're terrible at the game. You're not sure if you should even play the DLC. So I don't think anything is going to be quite at that level, but they probably want to have something comparable a little bit. Sound effects still feel kind of loud. Maybe I just need to turn down my volume. Alright. I'm not really too worried about the dev notes. It's kind of weird seeing all these specters around. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Oh yeah, I should probably pick up consumables. I might try messing around like bows with the crossbows and see if they're viable like early on, since that's something I haven't done yet in any of the FromSoft games. Except for like the first time I played Dark Souls. Because I was bad. And not even to the bone, just bad. Hilko needs to practice a bit more beyond Lane Dell. Oh. That's what I get for having like a short sword. I love the wonkiness when you just got arrows sticking out of your face. Oh, I need to adjust this stuff. Okay. So, you put the flask of Crimson Tears on the top one because that keeps you up. And then I don't really care about the flask of Cerulean Tears. It's funny, I went through that trouble of remembering to put my flask on the proper bar, then forgot to use it. We can't all be Ung Ball. I mean, my man's Ung Ball has to have like a lot of outtakes, but he is definitely a true gamer. Oddspace wants to see what FromSoft does after the Elden Ring DLC. Oh, you know, they're working on Bloodborne too. Any day now, guys, we're going to get that announcement. Why is this one so tanky? We get a not Stake of Marika. First off head. That is technically a Stake of Marika. For some reason, I was thinking of the summoning pools. I don't even really know how those work, to be honest. And hey, Colovian, nice to see you again. You love crafting arrows with the bows? Crossbows are good, but the ammo you buy is way better. Yeah, as far as I know, like, one of the issues is not all the ammo is purchasable, and some are limited per playthrough, like the Black Bolts of Crepus. So we got the Soldier of God. So somebody on Reddit a long time ago, oh wow, made a fake cutscene for the Soldier of Godric here. And I kind of get surprised each time I face him, which is not very often at all, that he doesn't have a cutscene because of how good the mocked up one was. Why is it always God? That's kind of a funny message. Strength. Got ourselves an emote, y'all. Yeah, that's right. I don't have any sword stones yet. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't come here first because it's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But I'll need to remember to come back here to get the Ring of Favor, essentially. What is the symbol on the Confessor cloak? So once I get up to the first step, I will rest at that bonfire, which is not a bonfire. I'll rest at that side of grace and check out a bunch of the lore stuff that we've collected. But just, I guess, to answer the question on the fly, even though the description mentions it, it is a sword going through a tree, which is, it doesn't look like either of those things. I mean, you can see the sword, but certainly not a tree. This might tie into, like, the DLC stuff. Anyway. Just checking all this stuff out. We got our white mask Varre. Alright. Let's go ahead and put this and see our little symbol. So we got, like, it's even on the front of the Confessor set. You can see the sword going through what they call a tree. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull that description up for now. Okay. Confessor armor. Black leather armor for blending in with the darkness, worn by church confessors. The churches outside the lands between, dedicated to the teachings of the Two Fingers, send confessors out to follow the guidance of grace. The confessors are loyal servants to the Two Fingers, ready to hunt down and quietly dispose of their enemies. Wait, why does this not talk about what's on the cloak? Is it one of the other ones? Oh, it's the hood, isn't it? No? Was this in 1.0? I'm going to take this off before I accidentally use it. Oh yeah, do I have spells? Okay, I'm going to turn on the HUD briefly. I have Urgent Heal. Oh, I have Assassin's Approach? That can be kind of useful, actually. Okay. You thought Varre was an old woman at first? He does kind of look like one. I don't blame you because of the mask and everything. Alright. So that makes sense. Yeah, Rich, talking about that Crepus crossbow. I do wish that you could get more of the actual crossbow bolts for those. Alright. It could be in the Assassin's Prayer Book or the crossbow. It's probably the crossbow because it seems like directly related to the Confessor set. Okay, so let's check out some of our inventory. So this is the Lands Between rune. It does have a little bit of lore, which is easy to miss out on. It says, Lands Between rune. Grace said to have once dwelled in the eyes of the inhabitants of the Lands Between, the lingering residue of gold used to gain 3,000 runes. No grace resides in the eyes of the tarnished. If it ever did, it is now lost. So maybe this is the same as the gold one. Anyway, this is a unique item, essentially. Flask of Crimson Tears. A sacred flask modeled after a golden holy chalice that was once graced by a tear of blessing. Filled with crimson tears, this flask restores HP with use. Rest at a site of grace to replenish. The one washed up on the gravesite was sure to die until this flask offered its gift of rejuvenation, to seek the Elden Ring. So, as far as the terminology is used for tears, it doesn't like literally like eye tears, salty tears. It means tears as in like droplets. I know in certain other descriptions, I think the Amber Medallions, they call it sap, but it's all really consistent in the Japanese. So the Erdtree sap equals tears, whether those be crimson tears, cerulean tears, etc. So then we've got the Memory of Grace. The memory of first grace which once guided bygone tarnished to the Lands Between. Lose all runes and return to the last site of grace visited. It is merely a cycle. Stand before the Elden Ring. Become the Elden Lord. So, it's merely a cycle. We don't exactly know what that means. Does this mean that others come before us to become Elden Lord? Which, you know, a lot of tangents to make about that, but it's not really worth the time. So I'll just kind of leave this alone for now. One other way to read the it is merely a cycle thing could kind of be like the equivalent of the whole Groundhog Day idea, where each day you spawn in and kind of relive it anew. that might be part of the cycle, but, you know, it's just kind of left open to interpretation there. Hey, Paul, nice to see you again. Could be in the alternate version. I was wondering that. And Vacuazella, nice to see you. Do I think holy damage will finally be useful in the DLC? That's a good question. I guess you're kind of right that there aren't really a lot of holy... base holy things, but to be fair, there are some really cool stuff like Waves of Gold, or is it Sacred Waves of Gold? Sacred Relic Blade, Ash of War. The Golden Order Greatsword's actually pretty cool too. I really liked the Sacred Blade beam type thing, but it is kind of true that holy gets outclassed by a lot of other stuff. And Oddspace says it's dead people juice. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. So I think there's a lot of thematic overlaps between things like Estus's flasks, and Blood Vials of Bloodborne, kind of relating into like the life essence of the beings in these universes. And I think in Bloodborne, it coming from like the blood of the dead is kind of an analogous to what's going on with the Erdtree getting the tears, the distilled essence of the dead, to kind of rejuvenate us and allow us to continue forward. Will we finally get Morgoth's Hammer? Morgoth's Hammer is the Giant Crusher. You can get it next to the minor Erdtree Church in, what's it called, Lane Dell. That has, like, the coffins caravan thing next to it. Oh, as an incantation, yeah. That'd be cool. It'd also be really cool to get, like, the Carian blades and the throwing knife. Dude, there's gonna be so many weapons. I'm kind of, like, my head's spinning. Alright. Tarnished Furled Finger. So this is what we picked up from the corpse of the girl. This guy has, like, a couple different rings on it, which is kind of hard to make out. They have, like, a couple bands. Oh, actually, now that I look at it, it looks like the little symbols on the coiling snake-looking ring resemble the symbol on one of the summoning stakes. I'll need to look one up real closely. I think there's one like right over here actually. Cool. Small golden effigy. Dude, I have not looked at this item and I don't even remember how long. Item for online play, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's not too important. I really don't know what this effigy is supposed to be. I mean, obviously it's a crucified person, but like, is this supposed to be the rune of Marika? Does this represent death? So many unanswered questions about that. Alright, so anyway. A finger of corpse wax, furled like a hook. It is a relic of those who came before, left to help those who would come after. Oddspace heard 100 new weapons. Yeah, it seems like there's going to be more than 100, but people were just saying. But let's try to also avoid some of that info, in case people want to go into the DLC super completely blind, just to try to be as courteous as possible there. And then friend asks, why do the crucified bodies scream at night? Yeah, that's something that I was going to get to in a little bit here, since we're kind of next to them, but I'm not entirely sure. I do think it could be related to sun and destined death. If the moon blocks the sun to keep destined death at bay, then does that mean the sun is responsible for death to some degree? And if the sun is responsible for death, does that mean these people are kind of dead during the day and that's why they come alive at night? Because the sun is away? Anyway. Alright, it's not too important, nor is this. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much that for those. Let's go check out our Roa fruits. Berry-like red fruits that grow in shrubs, material used for crafting items. Easily found everywhere in the lands between. It has a wide variety of uses. And they do kind of resemble eyes, if you think like the eyes of yellow and whatnot look like eyes. Which, if trees and plants are growing eyes, it's pretty trippy. Alright, so we have 2 spells with this class. Urgent Heal. Incantation of the Two Fingers Faithful. Heal a small amount of HP. This incantation can be cast while in motion. The Two Fingers has high hopes for the Tarnished, that even should they be wounded, even should they fall, they will continue to fight for their duty. And so this is kind of going to be a really big deal. I'm really curious as to whether or not this duty is essentially a literal curse that's placed on the Tarnished, and that might tie into how we can come back into the Lands Between after we die. But I don't fully know about that. That's just kind of some tinfoil headcanons to re-examine once we get the DLC there. Means the trees have insight? Yeah. Alright, so Assassins Approach. Incantation of the Two Fingers, servants who once served as the Assassins of the Round Table hold. Completely silences the footsteps of the caster. Additionally, reduces fall damage and the sound produced by falling. This incantation can be cast while in motion or crouching. The assassins were charged with eliminating Tarnished who had strayed from guidance. So, guidance of and whatnot. So, this stuff is really interesting, but it's just kind of all really self-contained and kind of hard to really make actions on. Okay, Assassin's Approach is up top. Let's get our lore stuff going on here. Alright, y'all, let's do some real cool lore tidbits.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the Lands Between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me, Varre. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace, the golden light that gives life to you tarnished? You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where Grace would guide you, if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are.
Right, so that's pretty much it for Varre right there. Obviously, because he seems to know that our maiden is dead, that has led many people to believe that he could have been the one who killed her. As to whether or not he would have killed her to sabotage us specifically, or if he's just kind of killing maidens in general to align with the Mogwin dynasty's aims and motivations, there is kind of open to interpretation. And there's also the possibility that for whatever reason our maiden was just dead. We could blame Melina, I don't know. So yeah, that's just kind of one of the most common thoughts about Varre. In cut content, so this, isn't exactly relevant to the final build of the game. There's the possibility that Varre could send us to the Round Table hold, and they walked away from that for whatever reason. Although, it would be really funny to me if Varre could kind of serve as a maiden in lieu of guidance, as Melina would put it there. Alright. So I still don't have Torrent yet. I think I might want to talk to Kale, buy the binoculars, go visit Melina, grab Torrent, and then maybe deal with the Erdtree Sentinel. And if he kicks my ass, I'll probably give him like 2, maybe 3 attempts, and then just move on. Especially because I'm headless and I don't know how much damage he's going to be doing. Wow, the motivation to just pull out Torrent is really up there. Okay. And then Kyle, nice to see you again. Oh Lord, he see me. Oh Lord, he saw me. Yeah, and so these were the crucified bodies we were talking about a moment ago, and they wake up and scream at night. Maybe they just got like a Charlie horse while they're sleeping or something. That could explain the screams. Church of Elleh. Where's it? L. Wop. So this is kind of like an anvil, which Hugh works at, or a really small version of EG's one, just with a lot more weathering. Smithing stone, tier 1. And our boy, clay.
You're a tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
So, Klans was asking whether or not Varre can see grace. At one point he probably did, but we don't really know if he can anymore. I generally tend to think that if somebody can die, they might not see grace anymore. Or sorry, if they die and don't come back. But I don't think that theory works out super well with everything relating to Roger. So we're going to pick up our super important lore item of the binoculars.
Goodbye. Nice to do business.
And then equip this.
What is it? Still going to purchase something?
And here, all of Kale's dialogue. And hey, 2-Hit, nice to see you again. What's the plan for prep? This is kind of like a fake prep because I'll actually be playing on PC, but this is going to be a Confessor build. So my idea is just do like assassin type stuff and cheat on bosses and like summon things. And then once I actually go through the DLC on my own, I'll probably stream this character's run through the DLC and look at it through this lens. Ram V, welcome on in. Well, I activate Taunter's Tongue once I get it for lore purposes. For lore purposes, I might do that stuff a bit, but yeah, that's a good question. They won't see anything if they die and don't come back. Yeah. Friend Alex asks, who are Elleh and Irith? Most of the churches are of Marika, and the only other one, Bellum, means war, which makes sense since it's in Liurnia, but the other two confuse you a little bit. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. I wish I knew more about that as well. Maybe they are the other two sisters of the three sisters in Liurnia. That's kind of a lie. I don't really believe that. Enter Y. Nice to see you. Welcome in. Why did they cut so much of the Saint Trina lore in the quest lines? Seems like they would have made a really nice lead into the DLC. That is an excellent question, which I don't think we can begin to answer. They might not have been able to have enough time to finish those quests. Because, I mean, for anybody who's played Elden Ring late and didn't play it like on day 1 or anything, really like month 1, it's kind of like a glossed over fact that Elden Ring finished in a very incomplete state, and we didn't get quest lines completed for characters like Patches, Nefeli, Gestak, Kenneth Height, who else? Jarbaron didn't exist. Dialos couldn't finish his quest line for like over a month after the release, and I think it was like patch 1.04 or something like that, which added them in. So I feel like all of the Kale stuff, because they wanted to have them roam around and be together at one point, might have just been an idea that they wanted to implement but couldn't, or maybe they just kind of like decided to go a different direction. We just really don't know. And it seems like there's a bit of a rewrite between stuff with Mikola and Melina, because Mikola is no longer affiliated with that kind of abundance, and Melina not quite as strongly that idea of decay. So yeah. It says you think it was 1.04 that finalized the quests. Yeah, that's kind of a guess. I'm assuming it would be 103 or 104, but it's obviously been a very long time. All right, good question though. Let's check out Kale.
I am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer. You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
Every time he says that he admits he takes cut, I just get a mental flashback to Pawn Stars of, like, them bringing in an expert telling somebody that their thing is worth $100, and then Rick's like, yeah, I'm gonna offer you 50, and then the people like, but it's worth 100. He's like, yeah, but you see, I gotta make some money on it, so it's gonna be 100. Or 50, rather. So that's just kind of what that reminds me of. So Vacuous had asked, do I think that the Nox or the astrologers would have had reverence for the sun? I don't know. Like, I think that kind of depends on what you define as reverence in this question specifically. Because if they're looking at the sky, I think obviously, to some extent, they're going to revere the sun as a celestial body. But I don't think that would be, like, the primary focus in portending, like, the fate of the stars and stuff like that. So I think that just depends.
You know, if you can spare the runes, you should buy yourself a crafting kit. A crafting kit allows you to make basic items on your own. Essential, really, if you intend to survive out here for any duration. The kit costs a bundle, and I admit I do take my cut. But the important thing is that you survive. Every customer counts, after all.
Damn, Sorry Baby, welcome into the stream. You said Corey is in jail again, Rick's son. I didn't know he was in jail. I thought I heard that Chum Lee went to prison or something, but I honestly am a little bit out of the loop on my Pawn Stars lore. So thanks for the info up there. And then Colovian was saying it depends on whether the Nox see the sun as a star or not. It's kind of an interesting question because, like, we're told that the sun is kind of like the protective star of soulless demigods in, what's it called? The Eclipse Crest Shield and Great Shield? Or Heater Shield and Great Shield, whatever they are. Just gotta one spam some dudes. Aw, I was hoping it was gonna be an armor piece, but I mean, if I'm gonna rock a crossbow, shouldn't scoff at some bolts. So we're gonna go visit our good old gal Melina, and then come back for the Erdtree Sentinel. Hey, Godric Soldier Greaves. Hey, Cookery. Cookery? Oh, I forgot I'm gonna have to get all these scarabs again. I don't play new characters too often. I just, Bro, what is this RNG? Okay, Godric Soldier Helm. We got our Ruin Fragment. I should get Torrent, shouldn't I? Oh, it's just the red one. Okay. I thought it was going to be one of the gold ones. Not gold ones, like the silvery Ash of War type ones. So let's go get our map. And no, let's do it this way first. Let's go visit our Site of Grace. Then get the map. Maybe the Lord's Sword and Great Sword. And then rest. It'll turn to night, and then we'll go visit Kale at Elleh and Renna. Hey, Safe Frog, welcome on in. You think Kale has a great sales pitch? Nice. Got the expert opinion here. Appreciate that. The sun is a giant chunk of orange glintstone. What was the second pawn shop show? I was thinking of, I guess it's not pawns sellers. What are they, like? Damn it, I was going to call them garbage pickers, but that's definitely not what it is. But that's like the other show that I think of. Lord Sword straight sword's nice. Has a crit bonus. Yeah, I really like it. You left a message at that site of grace. Maybe I'll see it. Wait. Black man, what's it say? I'm gonna do some stuff and then I'll check back to give you the chance to reply to see if we see it in the live. How is this dude dropping some stuff too? Oh my god. Tree and B Circ Hook. Does this class just have extra discovery 109? That doesn't account for that though. Garbage pickers. What was it called? Lord Sworn's Greatsword. So I really do like the big-handed weapons. It just kind of takes a lot of intuition for like posture breaking and whatnot. I don't think I have the stats for this yet though. I swear, if these are the gauntlets, I'm cheating. Oh my god. Okay, Lord Sword, Bolt. That's new. And Bolt. Okay. Rain Fragments. Godric Soldier RP? No. Well, I guess I am kind of a soldier of God as a confessor, aren't I? So we got some like Sarash type banners which represent Godric's forces. Because he's all about the nostalgia of the past. Oh no, we got the Bat Boys. I do not want to deal with those things. Oh no, somebody didn't drop an item. How dare they? So no chest in here. I think the whetstone is in these ruins somewhere. I just don't remember where exactly. I should double check my shield properties to see if I'm taking chip damage. I should have done a guard thing. Hold on, let me check my status. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. I don't know why I just didn't do this. 100% physical reduction. It's actually really good for starting shield. It's not like Dark Souls 2 where you don't get a decent shield until you're like halfway through the game. Thin Beast Bones? Sweet. Some good lore stuff right there. Yeah, now that I need the gauntlets, they won't drop. Now I wish I had a Molotov cocktail or something. Whatever they're called in this game. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, I also have the other spell to heal myself. Sprint. Hey, Brass Shield? I forgot that dude even had it. Or at least thing had it. Dodd Moros, welcome on in. You love early game Elden Ring so much. Lingering Fire Pot would be cool. Finding ground. Yeah, the volcano one. Yeah, the volcano pots are strong. Right, looks like my buff ran out, but it should be okay. I forgot I didn't have the shield out. So we got like a coffin. So I think the web blade's probably in this building. So we got our boy with the gilded great shield. Uh-oh. Joe, let me backstab you. That's one of the things that I do dislike. If you're kind of behind somebody, but they've like twisted their body so you can't actually get the backstab, which is more of a visual thing than anything else. Oh, lordy cabin. Okay, this has a parry. This is probably a bad plan, to be honest. Because I don't think I'm at full health. Oh, I was not expecting that backstab, to be honest. He doesn't drop anything. How rude. Okay. We got that side of grace over there. I think I'll just visit that one and then go talk to Melina and then check out a bunch of those lore items. Yeah, the Vagabond also starts with 100 physical resistance shield. The Vagabond is a really strong starting class. I know some people have started with whoever uses the daggers as like their first Soulsborne experience. I think that was Moxie. I just kind of feel a little bit of a regret for them because daggers aren't all that in the grand scheme of things. So this is the problem when I play an open world game like Elden Ring. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do one thing and then I get distracted by something else. Godric the Golden, humiliated, having tasted defeat by the blade of Mikola, now on his knees, begging for mercy. So this is kind of also on his home turf, which shows that he got completely emasculated by Melina. So much so that he's scared to even, like, remove this marker of his indignity, I suppose. Hey, Yushun, yeah, I'm kind of doing a pseudo-lore run. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get through everything in the game before the DLC launches, but, you know, we'll do what we can. So I'm not going to probably visit, like, every little cave and whatnot, but we'll, like, definitely check out the super big stuff. Or isn't the wet stuff below us somewhere? I think there's like a staircase. Oh, there's some artifacts clipping in. It's been too long since I've had to get the base whetstone. Jay Dixon was the Vagabond 2 years ago because they knew not the greatness of magic. Yushun can't play with shield. After playing Bloodborne, you just dodge them or use them on your back for a stamina buff shield. Yeah. Shields are kind of ridiculously strong, and they're also kind of limiting in the same way. Because you can't deal as much posture damage, but you don't necessarily need it if you're actively dodging things. Bacchus said, thoughts on the later areas? Everything after Morgott declines in quality compared to what was before, and Galamoth disagrees. So I like the Forbidden Lands. I think really the biggest issue is the mountaintops and the snowfields being so barren of everything. And just, there's not enough, oh, there it is. I'm blind as hell. There's not enough enemy variety for the late game areas as they are. So I think the actual areas themselves are fine. It's just enemy variety. So for all of these chests, we've got like this Erdtree symbol on it. I guess I should pull out the good old binoculars since I have those now. Flanked by 2 lions, which is kind of cool. Probably a symbol of Godfrey's time, essentially. If this is supposed to be the Erdtree. Ash of War, Storm Stomp, and Whetstone Knife. Good stuff. Okay. So now we can go talk to Melina. New map has been found, Limgrave West. I don't know if Melina will visit us at this side of grace. I know she does in specific ones. So if she doesn't visit us here, I'm going to fast forward it to morning just to show that it will progress to like midnight. And the same thing happens with Ronnie. Okay, now we got the cutscene, I think.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.
The eye line always just
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erdtree. I understand. I'm asking you to put faith in but a stranger. Yet I'm certain that we can reach an understanding. Summon me by grace, if you should reconsider.
Alright, I'll talk to Melina again, because it doesn't really affect anything to refuse. It does really bother me that at some point you have to go along with her. It would have been nice for New Game Plus if you could kind of sequence break things. So that is kind of a disappointment for me, but not like a necessary component of like a game by any means. Just kind of like elevates it to that next level for me personally. So anyway, more lore. Nice to see you again. And 2 middle fingers. Welcome in. I like the name. Do we know what the red lights in the Forbidden Lands are? No. So many people believe it could represent an earlier form of grace. I've wondered whether or not those red lights are supposed to be connected to the Flame of Ruin or the Forge of the Giants. But yeah, we don't really know. Black Man didn't know you can trigger the cutscene here. You can do it in a couple different places throughout the lands between, or not the lands between, in Limgrave. But if you go out of Limgrave, she will not show up in places like Liurnia or Caelid and whatnot. So, Chubby Owl, nice to see you again. Did we get our accord yet? Sort of. We're working for a Honda first, but I guess a Honda is an accord. Or an accord is a Honda. Damn it. My stupid joke got ruined by being even stupider than I meant it to. Anyway, it does always kind of like strike me as being unintentionally funny that Melina says, I offer you an accord, right when she like reveals her kind of closed off eye there. So I wonder if that's like an intentional pun or something like that, despite it not exactly working in the Japanese. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to talk to Melina again. Then I'm going to go visit Renna and Kaylee.
Have you reconsidered my offer? Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that is the ring that was on her finger. It would make sense. She does call it a ring. I kind of forgot about that.
Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff to look at here. Let's do the level up thing and listen to her level up dialogue.
Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me. Your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow.
All right, our thoughts, our ambitions, the principles we would follow, those seem to have some relevance into runes somehow. I don't exactly know, but okay, we'll just kind of roll with that. I can only level up once, but I'm not going to level up at all yet, because I'll just buy some more things from Kale. So that's pretty much all of that with Melina for now. We get the Spectral Steed, so he's kind of like a physical thing. And speaking of the idea of the properties of spectral spirits and whatnot, I'll go ahead and talk about the Erdtree now. So some people think that because the minor sapling type things are called illusory trees, that what we see with the Erdtree itself could imply that it is illusory in nature. I don't... So as far as like localization goes, illusory is fine, but it might inadvertently give the impression that it is not real, and what I mean by not real, it could be more of a trick type illusion rather than something that's just incorporeal. So that's kind of really minor quibble, but I know many people think that it's illusory, which means like this tree isn't exactly here. But I think as far as Elden Ring is concerned, spirits can kind of have corporeal matter at times, so incorporeal things might be physical to some degree, which is kind of a weird sentence in and of itself. But anyway, if you do strike the minor saplings, which have like the golden seeds and whatnot, you can kind of get collision physics. So it does show that even if it's an illusory tree or something, there's probably a physical element to it, which is probably why if you burn this tree, we get a bunch of ash and Leyndell and everything, and why we can ride a spirit with Torrent. Jigalag asks, can finger maidens read two fingers? So this is a weird question because on one hand, it seems like you would almost need, what are they called? The finger readers? But Goldmask is neither a maiden nor a finger reader, but can talk using the language of the fingers, presumably, and Corrin can read it? So, perhaps is kind of my takeaway answer. Like, maybe it's just a specialized language that people need to learn. So I don't exactly know. The finger readers would be eyeless, the old crones. So I'm going to put Torrent on thing. And then I'll reserve the last one for my spirit ashes. So right now it is late day, and if we teleport... Actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to ride Torrent to the Church of Elleh, and then I'll show that like Renna shouldn't be here, I don't think. But if we teleport in, she will be here, and it'll be night. Yushin says, Elden Ring controls reality. Could it be that the Finger Maidens use the shards of the Elden Ring in me to alter reality in your body? It seems like a strong potential, and there's like a lot of stuff going on with that. I thought this was a scarab for a second. I didn't remember there being one there, but anyway. We could also seemingly do it ourselves after Melina leaves us in Leyndell. So as we can see here, we've got no Witch Renna, but if we do this, and the trigger for this is getting Torrent's whistle.
This way, Tarnished. May I have a word?
So I'm going to try to focus on the moon.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished.
So when you talk to her, the moon just kind of disappears like that for whatever reason.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished.
Trying to do something.
A pleasure I am the witch.
A
pleasure to meet thee,
Maybe it's not as doable on console.
A pleasure to meet thee,
Zoink Scoob.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. A pleasure to meet thee,
I'm going to try it a couple more times, otherwise I'm going to give up.
A pleasure to meet thee. A pleasure to meet
So this is kind of like one of the nicer things about Elden Ring specifically. You can walk away from NPCs and they'll restart their dialogue.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished.
Wow. Oh, maybe it's because it's a different patch of the game that I can't do it.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished.
Right.
A pleasure to meet thee,
Yeah, it's. I don't think I can do it anymore.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished.
I'm gonna try one other way.
A pleasure to meet
Alright,
thee,
yeah, no, I don't
Tarnished.
think I can get it anymore.
I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk, I surmise, is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent.
So you can lie to her or tell her the truth, and this does kind of affect things, but not really. Like, they don't really have, like, super branching effects, but she just kind of, like, expresses her disappointment if we say that we don't. But, yeah. I guess I'll just tell her the truth for now.
As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee, by Torrent's former master.
So you get the Spirit Calling Bell and the Lone Wolf Ashes. So there's a lot to say about that, but before that, I should also mention that we've got a bunch of fog over here, and Kale is kind of asleep. So if you try to talk to him, nothing happens, but I forgot to do that. Because I got excited about the MOON. That spells moon.
'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree. The spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the Tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
Corn asks, where are the spoiler channels? You must be lost. It's just called Spoiler Zone. In the Discord is. So, somebody said something that I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah, it's night now, so our boys be screaming. Pretty cool. Alright, so let me look back up the chat real quick. Galamoth asks, is Ronnie anyway attackable here? Long spells or anything? Yeah, you can attack most NPCs when you encounter them, with the exceptions of Roderica and I think the younger D twin in the Aqueduct of Noxtella. I think it might be only those two that have like protection barriers at first. Can you say for sure that she killed her fingers? I don't think she kills her fingers until we give her the Slayer Blade. Crucified, but why are they also burned? That's a good question. I wondered whether or not that's to tie into like, what's called, not Death Flame, the Rune of Destined Death? Death Flame? Destined Death? Yeah, I guess there isn't really a term for it, another thing about it. So we got, because it's night, every once in a while the petals of the Erdtree, I guess its leaves, fall, and they tell a story. So we have more memory power when we kill things and get more runes. So I'm kind of like saying that flippantly, and I'm not super serious about that, but that might be an unironic reading that one could take of what's going on here. So, anyway. Yeah. They wake up at night, they scream, but they stay dead during the day. Don't exactly know why. So let's go ahead and pick this up. Golden Rune Tier 2. What was this? Okay, that skull just like looked weird from the back. Wait, this is almost like a torrent skull. Like a, yeah, whatever. Oh Lord, he see me. He see me. Okay. Let's buy some more things from Elleh. And then check out a bunch of lore.
Wait, weren't you... Well, you're back. Care to buy something?
I don't exactly know why he says, weren't you? Maybe it shows that these guys don't have like a ton of memories themselves.
You know, you should buy us a
crafting
crafting
kits?
kit.
Okay,
The kit
got
costs
it.
about the import.
Oh, and there's a new talk dialogue. I guess I didn't do that. So we've got the Missionaries Cookbook, Nomadic Warriors Cookbook, and their different tiers. Should probably buy the torch, to be honest. But bone arrows, glowstone, that's probably good. Holy pots. Then we got the chainmail set, the chain coif, the armor, gauntlets, chain leggings, the flask of wondrous physic notes, and the waypoint ruins one. So I'm going to buy all of the cracked pots, I suppose, and then the torch. Right, so there's a lot of stuff to go through here. So I'm not going to worry about the daggers. Telescope. Astrology tool used by members of the Carian royal family, a stolen part of a larger instrument. Allows the viewer to better see faraway things. During the age of the Erdtree, Carian astrology withered on the vine. The fate once written in the night skies had been fettered by the Golden Order. So this is one of the most vexing descriptions in the game because it kind of sets up a bit of a contrast between the age of the Erdtree potentially and the Golden Order, or it conflates the two, which is it's fine, but the implications of this can just kind of vary wildly by individual to individual, and I don't want to go through like all of the options because it's just going to take a lot of time and really be distracting. But as far as the final lines go, the fate once written in the night skies had been fettered by the Golden Order is curious because the Golden Order itself could be a specific reference to Radagon, and because in Radagon's boss title plates, at least as far as the Japanese is concerned, he's called Golden Order, Radagon. So this could be saying that the fate in the written in the night skies of the Carians was fettered by the Golden Order by Radagon, and it could be a reference to the marriage between Renna and Radagon, or it could be a reference to Radon later being born and arresting the movements in the cycles of the night sky. Could be another way of interpreting this, or all other manner of things. But those are kind of like the two biggest interpretations there. And so some of the ambiguity comes as to whether or not the Golden Order was already existing during this age of the Erdtree, like the very beginning, or if it came into being later with Radagon, which is why this description is problematic, depending on one's view of timeline. Cracked pot. This empty pot somehow mends itself when broken. Essential vessel for crafting cracked pot items. The materials and magic sealed within deploy their effects when the pot is thrown. So I wonder if the reason why these can mend themselves is because of the way that we get like beast bone piles of goo that can kind of roam around on their own. I wonder if like the meat stuff within these pots, the living jars at least, if those get mended because of the stuff on the inside. Maybe the pots are made out of something formerly living. I guess I never really thought about that. Huh. Crafting kits, not important, nor these. Alright, so a record of crafting techniques left by a man who, unable to become a finger maiden, instead became a missionary and went forth to spread holy teachings. So we did have that question earlier in the chat as to whether or not finger maidens could read the words of the two fingers, and then we had a joke in chat. It's like, how the hell can Corn understand Goldmask's finger wriggling when he wears a blindfold anyway? Which is just kind of really funny lack of attention to detail, perhaps, on the part of the devs. So anyway, this fascinates me because it implies that there's a bit of a like sex dynamic, gender dynamic, however you want to refer to it, as to who can and cannot become a canonical finger maiden. So yeah. Emerald Jack 4200, nice to see you again. Ghost Duel making pottery, yeah. Rob said maybe Marika did nothing wrong and Radagon did all the tyrannies. Is that possible? Absolutely not. No. Anticipated asks if there's much of a difference in the Japanese for the telescope. Unfortunately not. Yeah, don't really have anything else to say about that. Happy Hep, nice to see you again. So, Morlor said to me that I've said a couple times about how it's weird that we don't see Ranni's corpse next to Godwin, but why do they need to be in the exact same place? Wasn't it only at the same time? Yes, it's technically at the same time, but we don't exactly know if, how, or why Ranni would have died at the exact same time as Godwin. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. So, okay, I'll unleash a really cursed thought into that I really don't put much faith into whatsoever. But I've wondered whether or not it is possible for Ranni to have been to Godwin what Radagon is to Marika, if that makes any sense. And so if stabbing Godwin, that could have like split the two if they were combined. But I don't really buy that for what it's worth. Just kind of one of those what if ideas there. Alright, and so arrows, bolts, torch. This torch is tipped, is wrapped in, and this is important. Right. Large leather shield. A round shield covered in leather. On the larger side for a medium-sized shield. Though its damage negation may be... Okay, it doesn't say anything. So this just has a really cool, like... What are they called? Not Celtic knot. I forget what this one's actually called. It has a cool knot feature into it, but doesn't really seem to have super relevance for what we're looking at. Right, so nothing else is too important there.
I'm glad you took my warning to heart. You've made an excellent choice.
Because we bought the crafting kit, let's go check out some of our other items. So we picked up the ruined fragment and torn spectral steed whistle. This is a delicate goldwork ring. So yeah, this does not look like what Melina was wearing, because Melina's ring was kind of like darker black or silver or something like that. A delicate goldwork ring can be used as a finger whistle. Sound the whistle to summon and ride Torrent, the spectral steed. Upon his death, the spectral steed can be summoned again, but doing so drains the flask of crimson tears. So there is that kind of implicit connection between the tears and spirits, because we can offer them to summon a spirit with torrents. So that might be relevant and worth keeping in mind. But, yeah. Ruin fragment. Stone fragment found near places where ruins have fallen from the sky. Can be used for crafting or simply for throwing at enemies. These shards of stone are believed to have once been part of a temple in the sky. They glow with a faint light from within. So this will kind of make a bit more of a cooler thing to talk about when we get like the rainbow ones, but we also can put the incantation of the two fingers in a ruin fragment to like heal us, and kind of the same thing going on with the frenzy flame stones. So it's kind of interesting to me that the ruin fragments and stones specifically can be imbued with like different types of light and magic to produce different results. So, okay, this is a little bit different. Okay, Golden Rune 1 and 2. So, grace that dwells within the inhabitants of the lands between, the lingering trace of gold. Runes are nourishment for the development of any tarnished, provided a finger maiden can be found. ... Lone Wolf Ashes. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the spirits of 3 lone wolves. Spirits of wolves chased from their pack. They later encountered a nameless tarnished who welcomed them as hunting companions. The wolf spirits overwhelm enemies with their agility, aiding the summoner in combat. So we don't know if this reference to a tarnished is a reference to our specific player character or a different one before us, which may have been affiliated with Melina or Ranni / Renna or Torrent / Nicola or anybody / anybody else in this damn game. So this is a very interesting thing to me, because if Renna knew Torrent's former master, we've got a couple options with that being Melina. There's also the possibility that Renna could have been talking about Marika herself, and whether or not these 3 wolves correspond to the statue of a woman or a girl with 3 wolves in Fair Missoula, and whether or not that could be a reference to Marika or Melina or any combination of the two is kind of unknown there. We found the Elden Ring? Oh no, game over. Emerald Jack says there's a lot of libation imagery and statues and effigies of Marika. Perhaps there's something to do with that. And I've wondered whether or not the rune arc itself and the crucified people have anything to do with that. I wondered if this is how like they can gain runes, because we did get a bunch of runes from this one specifically. And if so, it would kind of tie into some of my thoughts about the hanged corpses in Bloodborne. So I don't think I have a rune arc yet to show this off. But anyway, that stuff might be relevant when we look at the DLC and whatever the hell America is doing with that pile of corpses and that kind of entrance, which looks similar to the Erdtree, I suppose. Chris, man, welcome on in. You just happened to catch this for looking me up? Nice, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, welcome on into the stream. Jigalag wonders how much Ranni was involved in the Night of the Black Knives, because it's not clear if she, for example, orchestrated the whole thing or is barely involved. Well, if she didn't orchestrate it, she definitely does whoever did a solid by taking responsibility. Which I wouldn't put it past her, to be honest. I guess to orchestrate or just be the fall guy. Fall gal. Alright. Thin beast bones, commonly used to make disposable weapons, found by hunting beasts. It's morning, y'all. Smoldering butterfly, an eternally burning butterfly found near wildfires and elsewhere, serves as the kindling for a number of items. So many people believe that the smoldering butterflies could have been a reference to Melina. Now they're like, oh no, maybe it's Mesmer. Because of the mention of kindling, with Melina potentially being a kindling maiden. I don't really have super concrete thoughts about that, so I just kind of like, I'm sitting on the fence until we get a bit more substantiate such claims. Herba. Evergreen leaves that give off a faint light. It's material used for crafting items. This very common medicinal plant can be found in thickets and elsewhere. Erdtree flower. So this is actually a pretty big lore item. This is a dusky yellow flower that has started to fade to brown, found throughout the lands between. Material used for crafting items. Said to be fed by leaves that fell from the Erdtree in days of antiquity. So, there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't fit into my Crucible video to really substantiate the claims about the ancient Erdtree kind of being different from the version of the Erdtree we see now. But for anybody who might not be super familiar with my channel or my content, I am of the belief that the Crucible is the Erdtree and always was the Erdtree, more specifically during the time of Godfrey, and it's the ancient Erdtree essentially. And so this will tie into a couple items right here that I'm about to look at. So we got a bunch of items from Godric's bulk. So we got the helm and the surcoat. So Godric's soldier helm says nothing. Okay. Tree and Beast surcoat says it's armor worn by soldiers of loyal to Godric the Grafted. Their surcoat depicts the distant Erdtree and the Beast Regent, an emblem of the Golden Lineage. Both are symbols of glory now past. So this doesn't really make a ton of sense on its own, but there's going to be a big spiel that I'm going to go on in that, as far as the Japanese is concerned for this item here, it should be understood as the Great Tree and Beast surcoat. So if you think about the Great Tree as it exists in items like root resin and whatnot, this item specifically points out that the Great Tree depicts the distant Erdtree and the Beast Regent. So Great Tree equals distant Erdtree. So Great Tree equals Erdtree. And all of this stuff ties back to Godric's stuff, or Godfrey's stuff, and his Erdtree being a kind of ancient Erdtree that I don't have enough of the current items to talk about at depth right now. So I'll just have to like talk about it on the fly, I suppose. So yeah, the ancient Erdtree to me represents the Crucible because all of the Crucible items kind of are related to that imagery there. So the aspect of the Crucible incantations use the ancient Erdtree. The Crucible knights themselves followed Godfrey. And I think the Erdtree during that time period was still affected by destined death. And because it was fleeting and mortal like all other forms of life. And that's why Erdleaf flowers were fed by the leaves of the Erdtree in antiquity. It's because life was mortal back then, and so the Erdtree's natural life cycle would kind of facilitate the growth of other plants, I suppose. Faye, oh, welcome on in. How do I feel about the idea of Crucible just being the state of the world in its base form whenever everything is burned or reduced to 1? So that's a good question. I don't think it works out that it would be the state of the world with everything reduced to 1, because we're told in Siluria's tree's description that the Crucible is shaped like a tree. So maybe if you want to make the argument that it's kind of like the Yggdrasil and like truly part of a world tree, I could potentially see that argument being made. But we don't really have enough to fully support that just yet. So with that being said, I think there is still the possibility, despite my beliefs here, because the Japanese just allows for it, that there's still the ambiguity that the Crucible could have been like a primordial soup and whatnot, that's somehow shaped like a tree. So pretty much take what I've said right now with a grain of salt. It isn't concrete. I'm just trying to express my current beliefs that are subject to change based on future information there. Jay Dixon's wife's garden is affected by destined death. Oh no. Gotta get a taunter's greet them, I suppose. Kyle Kramer, nice to see you again. Mr. Jigalag doesn't understand why not only Godwin was killed in soul, but also all the other soulless demigods. Are the Black Knife assassins can't kill someone fully with their fragment of destined death? That's a possibility, and that also opens up a lot of questions as to what would have happened to Ronnie specifically. But it could have been because of the Golden Order causing Spirit to become immutable, that the fragments of destined death from the Black Blade can't fully kill the body, which is why... can't fully kill the soul, which is why all the other demigods are soulless. Wait, let me just try to rephrase this. So, I think Godwin's soul dies because he gets got by the curse mark of death itself, whereas like the Black Knives, they can't destroy the body, and they can only destroy souls. I guess that's the exact same thing as Godwin, and he is sad with one of those knives. So maybe it's the other way. So Ronnie got the curse mark, and so she died in body but not soul, and the Black Knives themselves can only destroy souls. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make a moment ago before I distracted myself is that the Golden Order makes spirits into immortal essence according to Roderica, and so souls shouldn't normally die, but I guess destined death can kind of override that, but not with the bodies. It's weird. I wish I knew it better myself. Alright. Let's talk to this little ghost, because he's actually got a lot of really important lore, despite his few lines.
A proper death means returning to the Erdtree. Have patience until the time comes and the roots call to you.
So this kind of is really important because he sets up what a quote-unquote proper death is, at least as far as his perspective is concerned. So I would say that what it says might not be factually accurate, but it is the current belief in the lands between that proper death equals returning to the roots of the Erdtree specifically. And so Godwin does not have a quote-unquote proper death, despite having been given an Erdtree burial, because his soul can't return to the roots of the Erdtree, because he has no soul. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at with that. Alright, so that's a bit of a lore dump there. Let's go ahead and I'll read a couple more messages and then try to deal with this Erdtree Sentinel. Feo thinks that there's multiple reported instances of what? The Crucible? I'm not entirely following that. Chris asks, what are my thoughts on Godwin's death being the immediate catalyst for the Shattering? You're replaying Roger's quest. It says the Night of the Black Knives happened long before the Shattering. So, this is a bit of a complicated thing. I know like a lot of people get confused by the English of Roger's dialogue. It's a little bit more straightforward in the Japanese. I know, like, the English Roger says, like, long ago and then soon, but he's kind of talking about different things, and people get confused by that. Anyway, I believe that Godwin's death of the night and the Night of the Black Knives happened before the Shattering, but it was what Roger would say is that it was the catalyst soon after Godwin's death that caused the Shattering to happen. So the way that I currently think about that would be that after Godwin died, the Rune of Death started to sprout in the form of Deathroot, and it began to infiltrate the roots of the Erdtree. And I think that might have been what pushed Marika to the edge and caused her to shatter the ring, because she may not have wanted the Deathroot to go into the Erdtree and potentially go back into the Elden Ring if it's technically the Rune of Death in a different form. But one other cool idea that I've seen floated around in my Discord server, I don't remember who originally came up with it, but if the Tarnished dies and we drop like golden runes on our death, then is Godwin's death and his subsequent Deathroot just like his kind of tainted equivalent of the golden roots springing up? Is Deathroot essentially the exact same thing but corrupt for a demigod? Oh, it's too early with that roll? Okay. It's been a while since I fought one of these dudes. I should also two-hand my weapon. The audio is still skipping? Okay, you hear. Is it from my voice or is it the game? I should probably fast travel. Because it could just be my stream. No, I'm not dropping frames. I don't know. My voice specifically. Okay, so it could just be like my noise filter potentially. So I might need to adjust that somehow at some points. I think I've only got like 20 runes on my body there. Why am I trying to lock onto a turtle? Zunk Scoob. Uh-oh. Oh, I got really lucky with those hitboxes. I'm still in my animation there. Uh-oh. I need to heal. That was a bad try. I should have just jump attacked. Ooh. Okay, so like phase 2, I guess? Oh. Uh-oh. My spacing was off. Okay. So I should have healed, so I can pretty much only take 2 attacks. It's kind of the fun of the HUDless run. Just got to get a feel for the fight rather than relying on my bars. Hey, Anna Clara LLB? Or Anna... Yeah, okay. Welcome on into the stream. My sword has square off? Oh yeah, that is true. I do have Ashes of War. I don't use the base weapon types too often to remember what everything has. Oh lord, he's coming! Still an animation there. Heal. Oh. I thought he was winding up for another attack. Oh, that sucks. Going. Oh, I was that low still? Okay, I thought I was a little bit better off than that. I was greedy. I can do this. Save Frogs, first time they beat the Grafted and Scion and mark it at base levels with Square Off. So did you like one-shot the Grafted Scion, or was this on like a return trip to the place? Because the Grafted Scion is actually extremely tough if you try to one-shot him. Am I trying to do a specific build? Not exactly. I'm just gonna like do some like assassin-y type stuff with the Confessor. Because it's not something I've done yet. I might try to mess around with like crossbows and whatnot. This is not how I played again. Oh, that's bad. Oh, okay. That's pretty dicey there. I don't like that Ash of War. Okay, so I can't follow up the thrusts. Oh. Damn it, okay. I just panic rolled. Different timing on that attack. So I should stick closer into him, roll into him for more attacks. He's just mobile. Where's my blood spot? I don't see it. That's mean. Whew. Use the heavy instead of the light? Yeah, you're probably right there. I tried rolling. It's like one of those input delay things. I have no idea what just happened. There's a bit of an elevation issue. George says, is it just you, or does this look more saturated than usual? So yes, as anticipated said, technically my monitor is HDR, but my display is SDR. And so what I did was I manually went into my like OBS settings and tried to match what I see on my HDR monitor on the stream setup. So this is why it looks a bit more saturated for you guys. Oh, I got lucky there. Now let's go fight him down there. Not like this though. Poor Torrent, I got him hurt. Because this hill keeps screwing me up with the camera and whatnot. Oh no, okay. I was not expecting that long of a combo. There. I'll give this like a couple more attempts if I actually lock in and play well. One shot as in one try for the Grafted Scion. Because I don't think it's impressive, and I don't think the Grafted Scion you can do on like a brand new playthrough in one kill it in one hit. I need to bum rush him while he's doing his wind up animation there for that one. I walked into it. Damn it. I tried rolling. It's one of those weird things about Elden Ring. Where there are times where it seems like you can roll, and this could have just been the input delay for me. Or maybe I couldn't roll that. I don't know. Galamoth's DLC build is the first cool weapon they find. That's the real talk right there. It's like the Mike Tyson quote that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a plan until they get the, I don't know. The oceans of blood. I'm gonna get hurt for that. Okay. That one is definitely me. Alright, I'll give this one more good old college try, and then I'll just move on because I don't want to spend that much time. Mystikai, please don't backseat. At least for that. Like, you can tell me if I'm missing something, but I'm not going to listen if y'all are just telling me how to play the game. Oh yeah, I should have hit. Because I'm stubborn like that. I thought I was going to do the wind-up attack. The goats! Oh man. Okay. I lied. I'm going to do one actual more try just because I should have known he was doing that one. I thought it was a different attack. Hit the enemy while not taking damage. That is the true strat right there. Maybe I should put the shield back on. So that way I could just block that if I'm not sure what he's doing. Heal. Oh god, okay. I can't tell if I'm gonna get killed if I get hit by one more attack right then. I can't, out of stamina, I think. Okay. I should have healed off that. Alright, I lied. Once more, I'll do that one more try. See, so I don't like to try new things on the fly on a helpless run. I don't know the timing for these types of attacks. And of course I could always ride Torrent and cheat. Not really cheap, but I mean... Thought so? Okay. Oh no, okay. Oh, I thought he got me. I thought he had me. What a fail of a jumping attack that was. How did that hit me, that tracking? Oh my god. I think that just double hit me. Alright, one try for real. So I've got it. That's some bullcrap though. You would be doing better. Level of Vigor requires runes for Vigor to make my HP bar bigger. Should have healed that, but it took too long. Just trying to get him away from this hill, because that screws up the camera a lot. I tried rolling, I was too late. That was definitely me. I tried rolling, I don't think I have the stamina. Alright. That time is definitely my misplay. I'm just gonna move on. Because I've beaten this dude at this level before. Yeah, so I had a really rough experience my first time playing Elden Ring. There's no loading tip. Because I just kept resetting my game until I defeated the Grafted Scion. And then I just kept crashing against the Tree Sentinel for no real reason. Other than he existed, and that pissed me off. Alright, so that was a little bit too high. He shot you with the golden Hadouken. Yeah, I honestly didn't know that attack happened, except for like the other week when I was watching somebody's video. Just because I never gave that much space to the Tree Sentinel. Nah, I don't like to use the sword talismans, or the brand, whatever the talismans are for the HP ones, because the aura is kind of annoying me. But setting all of that aside, let's go pick up these runes and then talk to our good old boy, Yura. No, let's go to our side of grace first. Get rid of the annoying ass bats. Right. Damn it, I'm trying to have him like look ahead, but I think my positioning, this rock is screwing me up.
Ah, you must be the new Tarnished. You do well to steer clear of a Gill Lake, fledgling. A dragon roosts there, and it's as fearsome as it is majestic. So, unless you're mad or wish to be burned alive, stay clear of the lake. Don't be a fool. Turn back before it's too late. Don't be a fool.
Alright, I don't know if Yura's quest actually works where you can... I'm assuming it does, where you can summon him if you get killed by a Gil. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go die to a Gil first, and then I'm gonna, like, explore the ruins, since I don't have any runes, to see if a summoning spot pops up. And then, I'll probably go visit Dean Summonwater Village, then visit Alexander and Roderica. And so these people over here like chant a heal, oh a heal, because they all want to die, and they want to be cleansed by his dragon fire. I didn't get as good of an intro of him as I wanted. We'll go to the Stake of Marika. I have to talk to him again after dying? Okay, I can try that. Doesn't his summon sign appear like over here someplace? Summoning pool is now functional. I really don't know how those work. I feel like you can summon people at different spots regardless, and the NPCs don't work with these. Let's go talk to him again. You forgot he talks like Batman? It's just his voice. Anyway, this is failure.
Don't
oh, that works.
Be a fool. Don't
be a fool while drinking your juice in the hood. I know it's actually should be a menace to South Central Legend Kinyo Juice in the Hood. Ooh, skull. He is summonable, isn't he? Or no? I actually don't know where his thing spawns in. Right, so I'm not going to try to deal with Egg Heal yet. It might just be cheap and do the old gray old cheese. Just to get super easy level ups to begin with. So I'm not trying to go to Caelid yet, so I'm not going to go that way. Crab eggs. So I think we need to jump over this wall right here. Yes. He is? Okay. You forgot how to summon him, but it's a real pain? Okay. Twin Blade. I don't think this says anything too important. Sword with blades on both sides of the hilt. Okay. I'll worry about this one later. So what are the requirements? 16 strength, and I have 12. Okay. You think the summon sign's before the island with the worshippers? I thought it was somewhere around there. We'll figure it out. Is it under him? Oh, it's under. No, that's my corpse entrance. Oh Lord, he angry. I was not expecting the tail swipe. I don't think it's this way. I thought it was a lot more to the right. Oh, it probably doesn't work if I'm in the middle of the fight, does it? Alright, so anyway, I'll leave him alone for now, and we'll go visit our friend D. So we got the arterial leaf. Probably gonna die to fucking as I was trying to drink. Okay. So I wanted to get the arterial leaf for like a little bit of unironic lore, because it seems as though these quote-unquote bloodless creatures like land squirts have they congregate around arterial leaves, potentially to absorb blood themselves that way. Maybe that's how they replicate. So arterial leaves are dark red leaves with thick swollen veins. Material used for crafting items, exceedingly rare to find. A faint pulse can be felt in the veins, stirs the blood, providing an enlivening effect. So the Erdtree doesn't seem to be the only plant which grows on blood, guys. Mushrooms, not too important. I never read the Spirit Calling Bell. This is a bell capable of summoning various spirits from the ashen remains. It usually requires FP to use. Spirits can only be summoned in the vicinity of a rebirth monument. When summoning is possible, the monument icon will be visible on the left side of the screen. Only one type of spirit may be summoned at once, and then may be summoned during multiplayer. Whetstone knife with a cipher inscription made to look like a small knife blade. Allows the use of Ashes of War at a site of grace to bestow new battle arts and affinities to armaments as skills. The battle arts and affinities will depend on the Ashes of War used. And map, Limgrave West. The domain of Limgrave, far south of the Erdtree, is bordered to the northwest by the cliffs of Stormvale, and under its ever-clouded skies roll the great steppes of the Pale Lands. And this had a really different description in 1.0, where it talked about Tenebrae. Not worried about the Ash of War stuff. Okay. That'll be it for now. There's a lot of stuff that I need to look at. And then there's so much interesting stuff. It's kind of hard to ever just choose one singular direction. The sword's a little bit short. Thanks, bro. Ash of War unsheath. We got some more crab eggs. Your sign is where the Night Cavalry is? Oh, you mean the Kaidan Knight? Okay. If that's the case, let's check it out. There's a glitch when I said crab eggs and you just heard Craigs. Why do you think I said crab eggs when I said Craigs? I think you're right, Morlor. I thought it was somewhere around here, but maybe it's back further. Use the power of eyes. Wait, that's where you summon Yura by the Night Cavalry? He's that far east? Near the bridge at the sort of ramp, at the bottom of the ramp thing. Guess I'll check both sides of the ramp. North ramp. The ramp made of earth. You said by the cavalry, so I should be right by the stake of Marika? Okay. Wait, where's the stake of Marika? I know the summoning. Okay, okay. Damn dog. Made me look bad. Seek Samurai. I'm probably gonna piss off and heal and fail it. It's on the northern edge of the lake. It's that far out of the way? Okay. I might have to do the invasion stuff first. I think you don't need to. Hey, Trina's Lily. I kind of forget where stuff like that is quite a bit. And you're talking about this ramp. I should probably just Google this at this point. I got excited by the land sprout shooting things at me. I thought it was like this thing. Oh no, not a dragonfly. These are the worst enemy in the game to me. I don't want to have to deal with it. Okay, it's like right near it? Okay. Trini's Lily, earthly flowers. I don't see anything. I see the skull. And I'm gonna pull up Google because this is gonna annoy me if I don't. Euro summon for a heal. Did I really just get with this damn dragonfly? Alright, I'm gonna die to the dragonfly. I've accepted my fates. You're a summon. So this thing has me like further off to the west. I don't know how accurate this is. Oh no, he sees me. I don't believe it. He'll be hanging out under an overpass? After talking to him there. Okay, so I do need to do the Neria stuff first. That's annoying. even as an astrologer, dragonflies can be hard to hit sometimes. I think they are like the legitimately hardest to kill enemies in the game. That's, you know, like not a boss. Because at least you can hit rune bears. Let's get got by Nereus. Hey, Potato, how's it going? What build are we doing? I am trying out the Confessor for now. It's fascinated Faye that... Damn, these dragonflies. Anyway, let's go spawn camp him. We're gonna be too late. So Nereus can really mess me up. Really. The damn bleeds. He's got twin Reduvias. It's crazy how the bleed proc can go through fields or not. He was doing the charge up. Oh, okay, he killed me really quick without the bleed proc. Here, didn't even start talking. Okay. Feo says, it's always fascinated you that no one's really digging into the fact that the land octopi are actually tree/bird hybrids and no one looks into the lore reasoning. Do you have any idea? So, certain squids and octopi kind of have beak-like mouths to begin with. Is there no stake of Marika up there? So I don't necessarily think of it as a bird thing. But I would need to look at the land octopi again to see if they're related to trees. Armorer's Cookbook. So we're going to go up to the top here where there's going to be the Spirit Spring and this Site of Grace. Bleed's way too OP. Yeah, I think Bleed is extremely overpowered for what it is. I feel like the melee bonk build kind of got the rough end of the stick because it's really inconsistent trying to break a lot of posture with no visual indicators for it. So apparently I can't jump down exactly that way as I intended. So I died there. I think this fall is definitely lethal. This should be okay. Alright, time we got. And I'll try to spawn camp him a bit. You think their tentacles are made purely of wood? You think Zully did a video on it back? No! Please don't hit me again with those. I will die.
If it isn't Nereus, the bloody finger, the end is nigh.
The super annoying thing about Nereus isn't necessarily how quickly he kills me as much as it is like how good his Reduvias are in comparison to trying to do will two of your own. I think Reduvia is one of the coolest weapons. I was so excited when I saw the Reduvia in this game. Just because it seemed like a real upgrade in comparison to like weapons from Dark Souls 3. I thought there were going to be a lot more things like the Reduvias. Not necessarily in terms of like bleed and whatnot, but for purposes of uniques, I guess. I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what's going on with all the spirit jellyfish in the game, like what their deal is. But it seems like they can come from people. Soylent Green style. Where's he spawning? Oh, he I forgot that. So I'm gonna hang back here, let Euro spawn in, take some aggro. Hey, Throne, nice to see you again. There's more Godskin and Nox weapons in the DLC. You have a build tailored for those? Yeah, I definitely want a lot more Godskin lore. Also, like, a longer Black Flame buff would be very welcome.
If it isn't Nereus, the bloody finger.
He charged up. Can you guys tell that I don't PvP? No, I should be able to make that. They couldn't have put this Spirit Spring a little bit further south. Actually, I'd probably be fine with that drop, I suppose. Nereus is rough, though? Yeah. A little bit. Alright, here we go. Round 3. I need to get better at roll catching. No!
If it isn't Nereus,
I should have rolled to the side.
bloody finger. The end is nigh.
He's gonna kill me if I get it.
And your sister.
Yeah! Thanks, bro. Oh, I thought that was gonna be a backstab. You cheating? There we go. Oh, this is out of bounds spot? Okay, no, he just looked like he was walking back. Drink this! I do no damage. Oh no, I take it back. Don't drink it. Easy. Bloody Finger Nereus has died. Rejuvia. With his objective accomplished, Bloody Finger Yura has returned to his world. His world right here. So no more spirit jellyfish? Oh, we've got corpses here. Oh yeah, I forgot to put on my torch. I guess that could potentially explain the spirit jellyfish. They just kind of show up in some random spots sometimes.
Ah, we meet again. To have fought Nereus and lived. You must have seen your share of battle. I am Yura, as you might recall. Hunter of bloody fingers, tarnished, held in thrall by cessblood. Zealots, who stalk their own. You stay the path. You are certain to face more of them. Just remember, no kinship with their ilk remains. Their madness precludes it. Don't let your emotions stay your blade. Be on your way. Perhaps we will meet again. If fate permits. Be on your way. Perhaps we will meet.
Alright, so Yura gives us a lot of really important information right there. Let's go ahead and teleport up here, I suppose. And then I'll look for his summon sign. So he tells us a lot about those bloody fingers, and the funniest thing to me about that, he's like, hey, bloody fingers are bad, but then after you kill Egg-Heel, he'll talk to us about the dragon hearts and say, like, hey, here's an inhuman power, use it. It essentially almost seems no different from the bloody fingers, which I do have like some questions about regarding that interaction, because Elleh and Nora was like a Drake Blood Knight, meaning she would have like performed a ton of dragon communion, but she's also potentially a Mogwin follower, so I don't know if it's a blood thing or something else. So let's look for our summon sign. Egg-Heel is already pissed off. I guess I could try to... No, we already talked to Yura up top. I don't think he goes back to his spot down there. Well, let's do this, okay. So yeah, Bloody Finger dudes go mad, but so do followers of Dragon Communion. So it's kind of funny. It's like, hey, Bloody Finger dudes are bad. Do this thing that makes you almost identical to a Bloody Finger dude that will lead to your ruin. It's all good, bro. Thanks, Yura. Anyway.
Don't be a fool.
I kind of figured that wouldn't work out. I'm gonna just check around the perimeter. Hey, Say Frog, what's my favorite Elden Ring boss? You just beat Malekith and you think he's yours? I would have to think about that, to be honest. I mean, I like the phase 2 of Malekith. I don't like the transition between him and Geraint, because I think Geraint is just like extremely mobile and really hard to hit for melee, which is annoying. It might be Moog mechanically. Yeah, I think that's kind of my default answer for Elden Ring. I say like Luminary Moog. Even like the Sewer Moog is really good. I also really like Radagon. He just gets kind of a rough deal being tied to the Elden Beast. So the summon sign should be up top, as y'all have been saying. I'm just checking this area again. I feel like I've got to be blind and have just missed it multiple times. Not the dragonflies, please. Alright, I think I'm going to give up on the whole Yura thing. How many runes do I have? Does this not tell me? Oh, 1372. Okay, so I think I need 5,000 for patches. So I'm not going to worry about that. Just shit. So let's go visit Summon Water D, I suppose. We'll visit the Third Church of Marika, talk to Melina, visit D, and then probably teleport to Geraint. The reason why we're not I go visit Gareg first is because if you leave the Limgrave region, you kind of screw up the Summon Water D encounter. Oh. I should have hit this thing first. Hello, already casted. I've never seen that. I didn't even know that was possible. My man's with his cleaver. Slicing reality itself. Alright, a change of plans. We're gonna visit Sellen. See if that chariot is still activated. Or not chariots, but the, caravan. Moog was stuck on... damn it. Galamoth was stuck on Moog for days and he didn't even mind. It's a fun fight. I know a lot of people are really salty about Luminary Moog, which I understand. It just didn't bother me too much. But to be fair, I also had the Purifying tier. So if you missed Eleonora, which is really easy to do, I could definitely see how that fight would be frustrating. Which does remind me that I want to try to use like an Albinoric Blood Clot on him specifically to see if that'll stop it. So before dealing with these, let's actually... I'm going to have to fight the Pumpkinhead. I should have picked up my runes. Whatever. What am I doing? This isn't even the way in. Godfrey was Jack's favorite. The last phase is epic. Why did I do that? Okay. Oh, that's not good. I'm trying to like posture break a Pumpkinhead, which is not the smartest idea. I'm trying to roll. Oh god. I don't think I have enough juice left. Nope, okay. So I just need to get good, otherwise I lose my runes. I didn't have stamina, okay. I'm dead. Whew. That was a fluke. Let me take those. Go YOLO! Oh god. Okay, I think I was gonna die if I took that last hit. Enemy felled. Yep, 100 HP. Thank you, everyone, for the GGs. Yeah, I wish there was a boss rush mode as well, Galamoth. Maybe we'll get it with the DLC. I mean, they did add something like that for second, so like they know that's something that people want, at the very least. So Sellen does have alternative dialogue if you have a high intelligence stat. Mine is not high enough, so.
Tarnished, are we? I wonder you should turn up here. I am Sellen, a sorcerer, quite plainly. Why are you here?
I want to learn sorcery.
Ah, a yen for glintstone sorceries. I dare say your proclivities are far from ideal. Oh well, perhaps nurture will defy nature, with a bit of luck. but one must choose one's masters wisely. I was exiled from the Academy of Rea Lucaria as a reviled, apostate witch. Do you still wish to learn from me? Yes, I think that would be wise. We must choose our masters wisely.
This is part of why I hate being online. It's because I've got all these spectral images all the time, which kind of interfere with like the lore stuff, which isn't that big of a deal, but it does have an effect. And hey, Inat, welcome back into the stream. You missed the notification? Sorry, my guy. If you guys want more reliable notifications, do the stupid YouTube thing of like ringing the bell, or honestly, I would suggest joining the Discord, and I do send out a ping to everybody when I go live.
Well, have you made up your mind? Well, you are a piece of work. Very well. You are now my protege in Glintstone sorcery. But I refuse to coddle or cast kind words. Never. Anticipate grievances, young apprentice.
Alright, so we got a bunch of spells to look at. Glintstone Pebble, Star's Arc, then Crystal Barrage, Scholar's Armament, and Scholar's Shield. Glintstone Pebble is the most basic glintstone sorcery of the Academy of Rea Lucaria. The glintstone serves as a conduit, launching magical projectiles at foes. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly and while in motion. This is a universal first step on the journey to true knowledge of sorcery. Glintstone Stars is a sorcery of the Olevinus Conspectus, which attracts sorcerers from Elleh, a town of sorcerers. I always forget what the Conspectuses study, respectively. So, Glintstone Arc was granted to sorcerers who depart from the Academy to embark on journeys in order to fend off large groups of would-be adversaries. Fools often roam in packs. Crystal Barrage is a sorcery of the Crystal Cadre, a group of sorcerers who pursue the wisdom of stone, the secrets locked in the faint cogitation of the Crystallians. So, this item description is really interesting to me because it talks about the faint cogitation of the Crystallians, which means they think extremely slowly. Actually, let me double check the Japanese, because I think that's the implication, as opposed to faint cogitation, which I guess like faint does work, like their pulse is faint, it's slow? Or, no, maybe it's just weak. But maybe that's just kind of synonymous. Anyway, Crystal Barrage. So anyway, with the Crystallians being like inorganic beings and Lusat and Azura's brains being consumed by glintstone, this whole sorcery of the stone stuff is just kind of interesting to me. So because I am using my monitor for the PS5 to play Elden Ring, I can't share my current screen with you guys. So yeah, so it's like the faint thoughts, I guess. So maybe it doesn't actually mean slow. Maybe that's just what I pieced together from something else. Okay. Dylan's issue is being online and getting jump scared all the times, by the way. Yeah, that definitely distracted me as I was talking to Sellen. Like, the screen was flashing white as I was looking for my water bottle. Oh yeah, and then there's more to look at. Scholar's Armament enchants weapons in the right hand with magic affinity, and it's taught to the Knights of the Cuckoo by the Academy as payment for their contract. So this is very vital lore because this shows that the Cuckoo aren't necessarily natives to the Academy of Rea Lucaria. They're mercenaries, which will be more relevant later on in the playthrough as we talk more about them and Rea Lucaria itself. So same thing with Scholar Shield. Okay. Nod in thoughts.
Young apprentice. First things first. You are a tadpole when it comes to magic. Infantile. Without the legs to walk. So, to become a sorcerer, first, you must face your ignorance. Now, shall we start learning?
Alright, so that's pretty much all her dialogue there for now. You can attack her, she'll kind of disappear, but then I think you might need Celestial Dew to repair that relationship. I think. Anyway, let's go pick up our runes. And see if the caravan's still around. Really? Oh. That explains why I was confused where they were. Let's go find our troll bro. This should be way up there since... Okay. Chair guy. Somber Smithing Stone Tier 1. I'm gonna get rid of this cell sword so he can mess me up. How did he know I was here? Stop. There we go. I guess I locked too slowly. That was annoying. Uh-oh. I was trying to jump and it didn't go. That's annoying. Oh. He forgot I was here. These things are kind of tankier than I expected. Frozen Raisin? So I guess that does kind of put them squarely affiliated with the North. I didn't even remember that they dropped those. What is going on with these things? So the caravan seems to be dragging this to Stormvale. Maybe they're trying to give the bodies to Godric for grafting or something. I guess would be the one way to look at it. Ash of War Determination. Oh, that's a pretty good one. We got our Undertale Ash of War. Oh, the thing's open? Still? I didn't even know that was possible. Great axe. Okay. So that's what I wanted, that. So now we'll go visit Summon Waterdeep. Yes, you guys are talking about the differences between gaming on console and PC. Yeah, it is pretty rough. I don't know what else to say about that. Because it does suck to miss out on the titles that you want. Exclusivity sucks, but it's kind of almost like a necessary evil. Because I think when everything is on one platform, it leads to a monopoly, and then the devs can just screw you over however you want. And for anybody who's like curious about that, I would recommend checking out what the initial launch of the Xbox One was like, I think. I can't remember which Xbox system is which after the 360. So anyway. Oh, we got the most important item in the game. Let's squat to pick this one up. Gold tinged excrement, y'all. It is important enough to not even worry about the painting and just look at the lore now. Someone's excrement. It has a golden tinge. Material used for crafting items, often hidden in woods and thickets. Gold-tinged excrement is a highly stable substance. It doesn't dry out, nor does it lose its customary warmth or scent. For better or for worse, it remains as it is. So part of the reason why I say this is one of the most important lore items in the game is because it firmly establishes that there is a kind of stasis in the lands between, and it is affiliated with gold specifically, which is a trip. That's why I wanted the Erdtree in the background there. And so I personally think this form of stasis was a product of Golden Order fundamentalism and ties into the powers of the laws of causality and regression. But we'll talk a lot more about that when we pick those up. So we got the Homing Instincts painting, which will be in the Weeping Peninsula region. How far does the caravan go? I actually haven't bothered to see how far they go just because that takes a very long time. But it seems to be going to Stormvale. Maybe I didn't finish my thoughts. I wonder if they're going to Stormvale for Godric to graft things from. But if not, it wouldn't surprise me if their overall destination was supposed to be Altus Plateau and the Erdtree. There's a ton of quote-unquote abandoned coffins when you come out of the ruin-strewn precipice area. So that tells us of catacombs that way, but we want to go visit D first. Trying to think of the most direct way to go there. I guess the Kenneth Highway might work, because we could visit the church and then climb up everything. Again, I guess we could also visit Kenneth along the way.
Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great Kenneth Height, servant to the true order and celebrated repudiator of the false. Oh, Erdtree, grant me succor.
Anyway.
You've come to lend me your aid, have you? Well, that's very kind, but, no, but the help is very much appreciated, even from a tarnished. Despite appearances, nobility is no prerequisite to serving the true order. You might have heard of me, Kenneth Height. Next in line is the rightful ruler of Limgrave, young Tarnished. I would have a boon of you. I want you to take back my fort. It lies to the south, beyond the Mistwood. A knight commander from Stormvale took it. A fool! And plumb mad to boot. Simply obsessed with blood. What are you waiting for? A kiss goodbye? My fort lies to the south, beyond the Mistwood. Take it back for me. Oh, I see. You wish to know the reward. Fret not. The great Kenneth Height is known for his considerable largesse. The celebrations will be lavish indeed upon the dawn of my fort's retrieval. Yes, now allow me to furnish you with a little advice. I would take great care to avoid Godric's tarnished hunts were I in your shoes. That depraved lot are obsessed with sacrificing tarnished like you for the sake of grafting. Honestly, Godric's nothing more than a jumped-up country bumpkin. Lord? Oh, don't make me laugh. First, he hid himself amongst the womenfolk to flee the capital, then hid from Radahn in that castle. Then he insulted Melina, lost to her in battle, only to lick her boots, rather than die like a man. Has he no shame, the big girl's blouse? And to think, he's the blood of Godfrey, last of the golden lineage, though you almost wouldn't know it to look at him. Yeah, I almost feel sorry for the chap the more I think of it.
Alright, so there's a lot of lore to go through there. I know Kenneth says that Godric is the last of the golden lineage here in English. I don't exactly remember what he says in Japanese, but I remember it being different enough that's worthy of comment. Let me pull this up. Okay, yeah, so he doesn't explicitly say that Godric is the last of the golden lineage. He just says that his blood is so diluted, essentially. And so this is kind of like one of the unfortunate aspects of the localization, because some people are like wondering what all that means. I'm not entirely sure how relevant this difference in the text really is, but this is something that came up in the Discord server earlier in the week, which is why I bring it up, because I do remember it being different. And so, anyway, as far as his other comments, we learn that Godric is kind of the runt of the litter. From Ania, we'll find out that Godric is kind of a removed descendant and not necessarily a direct descendant of Marika, as in like a direct child. He seems to be more of like a grandchild or something even further removed, which might be why he tries to get powers from others, because his power is diluted from being so removed from Marika and the Elden Ring. But anyway, what else does he say? Oh, right. That Radahn attacked Godric, and then Godric hid from Radahn in the castle after their failed attempt on Altus Plateau, which we learned more about, like Dragon Knight Kristoff and whatnot. So I'll leave that bit alone there. And then after Radahn, Melina beat the crap out of him, I guess, and he groveled. It really vexes me to this day that Melina didn't take the Great Rune of Godric when she potentially could have. Why not? It just... There's something going on here in the story which just doesn't quite add up for me. Maybe they never fought. Maybe the Sword Monument's a lie. Maybe Kenneth's story is just that, a story. But they all seem to believe it. There is that Sword Monument, and if Godric wasn't defeated, he doesn't seem like the type that would be fine with letting that stand up in his grounds. So I just don't entirely know what to make of all of that by any stretch of the imagination there. And then we had a bunch of good questions in the chat. Feyo, before I talked to Kenneth, was asking if there's any explanation for the paintings we come across. They don't think they've seen anything regarding who may have made them or what they give you and why they are placed where they are. So if we actually check out the item descriptions, there's not a lot in there, but it does explain it a little bit. Of the Homing Instincts painting says it's a work of a wandering artist, and when you go and visit the artist, you can kind of see their souls. So like the desiccated noble dudes may have allegedly painted these. It's reminiscent of a painting titled Homing Instinct. This painter is said to have captured the landscape seen during the last moments of those welcomed into death's embrace. The soul of the painter and vestiges of the dead's last moments can be discovered by visiting the location depicted even now. So, now that I think about it, I want to double check all of the other all of the other soul paintings, because if we see the minor Erdtree in this vantage point, and this person is welcomed into death's embrace, it makes me wonder if this version of death's embrace is related to destined death, or if it's not related. Because if it is destined death, then I think this should highlight that destined death is still in the lands between while there are minor Erdtrees, which it might be a very controversial take, depending on one's opinion about minor Erdtrees. I know many people believe that the minor Erdtrees sprouted from the golden seeds after the shattering, but I disagree with that for multiple reasons that I'll get into later when we pick up like the golden seeds and go to the minor Erdtrees and fight the avatars. So before leaving that alone entirely, I'll say that I think that the minor Erdtrees sprouted up from the roots of the Erdtree in the ancient times during the Age of Abundance with Godfrey. So hopefully that makes enough sense right there. And then Einat was asking, how does that work, though, in relation to something else that we were looking at a moment ago? They were saying, oh yeah, when Kenneth was asking, like, Einat is asking, how could Kenneth tell that we're tarnished? And he says, grace lives in our eyes, ? And the tarnished were given the grace back. So shouldn't our eyes be golden again? How can he tell we're tarnished? So that might tie into, like, the descriptions of the golden runes and whatnot. Or the lands between rune, which says, no grace resides in the eyes of the tarnished. If it ever did, it is now lost. So we can seek guidance, but apparently we're still spurned by the grace of gold if Godfrey's remark is correct to us. But yeah, I don't entirely know what to make of that situation. Kenneth's eyes do be glowing a lot more than ours do. Let's pull out our binos. I guess I can zoom in further. Okay. Oh, yeah. So his eyes are quite golden. Let's shut ours in comparison. I guess I'll need to get a real wall. So in comparison, our eyes are... Like, this isn't a fair comparison because you could use the character creator. But at the very least, there's not like an extra glowy type thing going on, whereas his are quite vivid and yellow. Same thing with like Millicent and a lot of the other ones. And I said Millicent, and I meant Millicent, not like Melina or anything like that. And Melina also has a really gold eye, so she may not be tarnished either. Galamoth is still waiting on Kenneth to knight him. Yeah, and Morlord doesn't think that Melina went south for the Great Runes. I mean, that's kind of more or less the takeaway that we need to come to. Because even though it is sort of at odds with the story trailer and whatnot, the fact that she didn't shows that like whatever's in the story trailer might not be fully accurate there. And Mao, nice to see you again. Feo says, Kenneth's a believer of the Golden Order, hence the golden eyes, and us being tarnished, even if you're believer, you have no gold within your eyes. You could make the CC. I'm not sure what you're saying with your eyes gold. Forgeborg says, according to Zoli, all human NPCs and Morgoths who aren't mentioned as a tarnished have a special gold tint to them. So yeah, it seems like the tarnished have lost their grace of gold in their eyes. Sorry. This is the third Church of Marika. I'll need to rest that side of grace to get the Melina dialogue. We get the Crimson Crystal Tear and the Flask of Wondrous Physic from this basin. Super important item. And from this big old statue of Marika, you get the Sacred Tear. And so looking at the statue of Marika itself, we see the shawl behind her. And she's kind of in the rune arc position, kind of reminiscent of the crucifix position that we see like all the hanged and burned bodies on. So we'll talk to Melina and then check out those items there. I think this is where I need to sit. Close enough.
Spoken echoes linger here. Words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you. Very well. In Marika's own words, my lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die. Well, perhaps that might serve you in lieu of a maiden's guidance. Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment, share them with me. Your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow.
Alright, so this dialogue is weird because it seems like it's only half of the dialogue that's delivered later on to Godfrey and the Tarnished. So we can increase the amounts that... Oh, no, don't do this. I want to look at these items before I do that. So I don't really have enough runes, so I guess I'm going to hold off on that so that plan doesn't work. So Flask of Wondrous Physic bestows various special effects. It's a relic of the Physic Chemists, priests of the Erdtree. Harnesses the powers of crystal tears, which only form after the passage of many moons. Various special effects are bestowed upon the drinker, dependent on the specific mixture of crystal tears. Rest at a site of grace to replenish. Basins are placed at the feet of minor Erdtrees throughout the lands between in order to collect their crystallized tears. So as I mentioned earlier in the stream and slightly in my last video, that the tears of the Erdtree are like the sap of the Erdtree. Essentially, it's the same character in Japanese. Shizuku, droplet. So tear as in like the tear shape rather than like crying tears. So the types of tears in... Are these key items? I think they're key items. Yeah. The Crimson Crystal Tear is a crystal tear formed solely over the ages where the Erdtree's bounty falls to the ground. And sacred tears are blessings of the Erdtree worshipped in the churches of all lands. This is but a faint vestige. Increases the potency of a sacred flask's restorative effects. During the age of the Erdtree, these tears were used to spread the faith, for theirs was once a certain blessing. A lot of the tear stuff is related to Godfrey in the Age of Abundance and sap and dew, essentially. And what was I going to say? Pretty much just that. Tear equals sap equals amber equals crystallized tears. And they're kind of all the same, but slightly different, and you just kind of have to deal with it, essentially. Mao is curious why Marika still calls Godfrey her lord, even though she's sending him away. Because he technically is still her lord at that time, so she is being respectful, despite saying, I'm casting you away. Because she is kind of saying that they'll be called back in the second Side Grace address. So it's possible that Marika could have gone on a victory tour, saying, hey guys, we did it, mission accomplished, I don't need you anymore. And just kind of delivering the lines personally there. Is there anything else that I wanted to grab? If so, I kind of lost my train of thought about that. Okay, so the next stop is going to Summonwater Village, and we'll see D up there. I don't want to go this way. Actually, no, I do. No, it's the other way. I'm not going to go through the portal yet because that'll despawn D. Because we need to not get out of Limgrave for this special dialogue here. Ash of War, Sacred Blade. Okay. That does remind me I wanted to change my Ash of War. Not going to worry about that too much right this second. I'll just continue to forget about it throughout the playthrough. Arrow of Fruit, come on. Neutralizing boluses. She never refers to Radagon as her lord. At that point, she is like directly disrespectful to Radagon, so that doesn't surprise me. As opposed to trying to keep up appearances in public. Oh no, we got the lightning ram troll. So I'm not going to go to the Soldering Church, because that technically is Caelid and will screw up the D quest. And also I don't want to be invaded by Anastasia right now. Alright, so before fighting the Tibia Mariner, let's go visit our brother D. Flight pinion. Alright, now we will visit our friend D in a kind of special location. And so this is going to be a little bit awkward because he delivers some dialogue automatically, and then there's this huge pause before he continues to deliver such lines.
There's no mistake, is there? Death has left its mark once again.
So that's the first set of lines.
I'm sorry. I cannot give you your proper rights. But at least you did not join those who live in death. Your soul will return to the Erdtree in time. Honeyed rays of gold, deliver this spirit.
Alright, so I'm not sure why he can't give them the proper rights. Maybe he's not going to give him Erdtree Burial. Does that mean he knows Erdtree Burial doesn't work? I don't know. So, a big lore note is that when D says that your soul will return to the Erdtree in time, his Japanese dialogue says that he will return to the Great Tree in time. So the localizers inferred that he was talking about the Erdtree, which makes sense because that's what we're told in the Tree and Beast surcoat, that the Great Tree is the distant Erdtree depicted on such a surcoat. So, some people have wondered whether or not D has killed this dude, and this guy's corpse is that of a Tarnished that is wearing the Guilty set. So, if so, does that mean the Hunters of the Golden Order were killing the Guilty? Is that why the Guilty hooded folk are crucified in other locations? It's just very interesting to me that this model specifically is that of a Tarnished, as opposed to one of the other nondescript corpse assets, I suppose. Mao says, do I believe those echoes are being said in public? Oh yes, absolutely. I think the one in the bedchamber is private, but I think that would be like the big exception to the rule. Because I think the spoken echoes lingering where they are implies that that's where those lines were delivered. And some of them are like proclamations to a wider audience than like private conversations.
Ah, a Tarnished, are you? I'm known as D. I hunt down those who live in death and weed their death root. Heed my warning. The village here has been touched by death. And worse yet, it is home to a mariner. If you value your life, then go no further. The village here has been touched by death. Turn back while you still can.
Alright, so... thinking... Alright, I'm gonna do something a little bit different for the lore here.
Very well. Honeyed rays of gold, deliver this spirit. I swear, there's a blight spreading amongst the Tarnished.
Alright, so the reason I attacked him is to show that his brother will pretty much attack us on sight once we give him the armor, and know that we are his brother's killer, which is kind of weird. Wait. I don't know why I got turned around there. Oarda. Hey Nemo, nice to see you again. And me, Laser. So yeah, we don't know if he actually killed other Tarnished, but that's kind of like one of the big questions that people have about why he shows up there. I guess if I was smart, I should have talked to D after killing the Tibia Mariner.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm terribly sorry. Are you here as a customer?
So we got pickled turtleneck, smithing stone, cracked pot, nomadic warrior cookbook, short sword, flame chariot notes, bandit mask. It's not too important. Halberd, also not too important. Okay. That laugh. Let's go fight D again, but actually attack him. Should be on the other side of the graveyard, right?
I swear, there's
Oh, wow.
a blight spreading amongst the tarnished.
He two-shot me. I'll need to level up my vigor after I get my strength up a little bit more. Just to use the great sword. The lighting is just so different. Sometimes, like some days it's really like vivid and yellow, other ones it's not. Nightbot calling me out. I need to adjust. Oh, he did the bestial incantation and litany. Litany should do no damage to me. I'm not those who live in death. Oh yeah, let's do this. I was trying one spam, but he was out of range. Damn. Okay. I didn't think I stunned him out of it because it looked like he was still in that animation. I couldn't roll. I might have been out of stamina. Mao disagrees with them being proclamations. You think of those as important moments in Marika's journey, like what we got to do with Mikkel and the DLC. You could disagree, but some of them are legitimate proclamations, and I will not budge on that. He was panic rolling after he killed me. Is his sword any good? It's decent enough. I haven't messed around with it too much. Maybe I should, as a Confessor type. It is a good holy weapon. Ow. So that has like auto tracking. That's annoying. Alright, so I need to parry way earlier. That was annoying. Okay. What? I was blocking, but he hit me. That was okay.
There's a blight spreading amongst the tarnished.
Throne asks, are the Newmans the ones who manipulated Dee and his brother? You wonder if the Newman ships brought over such techniques to manipulate a soul. So in terms of them being a split soul, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with the Dee brothers and their split bodies. They said that they were cursed, but the Golden Order is the only institution which accepted them. And so I guess that really depends on what you think the Newman affiliation is with the Golden Order specifically. Oh, okay. I tried jumping. Oh, he caught me in the jump. Okay, okay. So I need to heal after every hit. That's what I get for just thinking I could tank 2 hits. Hey, Jay Dixon. Yeah, so this one actually has a little bit of lore significance why we're killing this NPC. I mean, let's be real here. I'm not killing the NPC. He's killing me. He's not as bad as Nereus by any means. Oh. Why have I not been doing this? Do it again, I dare you. Oh, I thought he did do it again. I was out of stamina. Oh, I was surprised that didn't kill me. If he hits me again, I'm gonna die. There we go. Oh, that sucks. I couldn't even do anything about that.
Amongst the tarnished.
Walking up on me, staring me down. Alright, anticipated. You gotta get some rest. Take care. Appreciate that. Oh, that's why I didn't do it the one time. And it being like sneaking up on him, it's because I was always grabbing my runes first. Oh no! Okay, I thought I was dead. So maybe it's because he's... Oh, it's probably either the two-hand or the buff. So he's got poise on that. That sucks. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, when he gets that, that really buffs his damage. Obviously, with that being the holy property, he may have done some chip damage to me in my block. That was just more damage than I was expecting. Would that lock you out of the Grand Sax fight? You mean the Fortisax one? No. That can happen without D. Because Fia will still get the Rune of Death. Somehow. Damn it, I need more range on that. There we go, that's a good one.
Happen. Forgive me, Devin. Devin.
So his brother's name is Devin, and this one is Darian. So we get D's bell bearing, the twin elm, armor, and gauntlets, and greaves. But we don't get the sword here. So that's kind of like the bad part of trying to do this now. But I think you can still get the sword from his brother. Helm depicting entwined twins of silver and gold. The two known as D are inseparable twins. They are of two bodies and two minds, but one single soul. Not once do they stand together. Not one word do they speak to one another. Perhaps this armor longs to find its way to the other D. So the final line is interesting. I'm not sure how metaphorically it should be taken, but I think there's a very strong possibility that the memories of the D twins is contained within the armor, which might be why the other D twin will aggro on us. Because how else would he have known that we killed his brother, except, you know, maybe some silly Golden Order magic, which is a possibility, but it's kind of worth mentioning, I suppose. The other thing about this item in particular is that it says that they're of two bodies, two minds, and one single soul. This is a really big departure from the Japanese because it says they have two bodies, two wills, and one single soul. And part of the reason that I'm making this distinction is because a lot of things relating to the mind is more directly related to the soul as far as it's concerned in like the Glintstone sorceries. So the fact that this would imply that there's two minds but one soul is kind of a little bit at odds potentially with our other understanding of Glintstone, because mind might be inseparable from the soul is essentially what I'm trying to get at, especially when you depend on looking at things like the what are they called, the primal Glintstone blades of Sellen. Like her mind slash soul gets embodied into her primal glintstone, which can be transferred into a new body. So if the mind was separate from the soul, it's kind of curious how the Sellen situation would work out. So this is why I'm bringing this up now. So is his brother pissed at us right now? Not exactly. His brother is still catatonic up until we give him the armor set. Galamoth had it backwards. And then Amos, welcome on into the stream. Why does he die if the Tarnished don't die? That's a very good question. I don't have a perfect answer for it. My hope has always been that these other Tarnished may have lost the sight of the guidance of grace. So even though we technically don't have grace, potentially, I don't know, we still see the guidance of it, but maybe these other Tarnished that can permanently die do not see the guidance anymore. Oh yeah, I meant to change my Ash of War a while ago. I can't apply it. Oh yeah, no skill is its own Ash of War. That's annoying, I forgot. We'll just do this for now. No, I don't want Sacred. Actually, will it even matter? A small amount. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, we can level up more strength. And now we can start working on our vigor. So Lord Zorn's Greatsword is a well-crafted straight sword with an illustrious design wielded by regulars of a lord's army. Though black and damaged by years of use, it appears to have otherwise been kept in a serviceable condition, despite the soldiers having long since lost their minds. So this is kind of one of the important items, which kind of hints that the people in the lands between are like losing their memories and or their minds. And that'll be more relevant way later on. Great Axe. Great Axe akin to a huge lump of iron. Recognized as the weapon of choice of Badland chieftains. Too heavy to be wielded by those of merely ordinary strength, blows from this axe will flatten enemies, and the force of its charge attack is a sight to behold. And I typically don't worry about like the Ashes of War on them, because they're typically descriptive rather than like flavorful. Finger Seal is a sacred seal bestowed by Finger Maiden, which serves as a catalyst for casting sacred incantations. Incantations must be memorized first at a site of grace, and a sacred seal must be equipped to cast them. I feel like I've seen that squiggly pattern in what I would call like the fingertips somewhere else, but it's eluding me. Torch is not important. Brass shield. On the larger side for a medium-sized shield, the face has been covered in brass, commonly employed in the shattering. So it looks like there's a snake and like almost like a Hydra head at the top. Maybe a bunch of snake heads. I can't exactly say. Wait, why did I put that in my right hand? Reduvia. Jagged dagger with a distinctive curved blade, used by the noble servants of the Lord of Blood. The dagger rips the flesh as it enters, inflicting blood loss with sickening efficacy. A proud testament to the success of its vicious design, this weapon is perpetually coated in blood. And this is kind of reminiscent of like the Finger Slayer blade almost. Not really, I'm just kind of saying like it looks to be made out of like a spine or something. And its unique skill is the Reduvia blood blade, but it's not too important. And then Ash of War. This, I guess I should do. I'll do normal style. Meow says, you're going to use the twins with one soul to explain Godric Godfrey to yourself, so you don't have to think about it. Oh yeah, so about that, the whole line about these two not standing together, not one word did they speak together, the Japanese is kind of similar, but it's a little bit clearer in that essentially one twin has to sleep while the other stands and is about, which is perfectly fine in the English there. What was that? Maybe it's just the sun. So hey guys, now that I'm like looking at the sun now, let's go ahead and point it out. This is essentially the sun in Elden Ring, and it's a hell of a lot smaller than the moon. And if we've got an eclipse sun going on in other parts, it doesn't really match the depictions of the eclipse on the shields. So there seems to be like a lot of hidden stuff pertaining to the sun that we just don't know enough about yet. For Alamoth, no skill comes default with every weapon in the game. My condolences, my guy. Alright, Jay Dixon, you have a good night. Yeah, I'll be streaming every day up until the DLC releases. I guess technically the night before I'll probably not stream, because I'm assuming it might come out at a certain time. So yep, we got a Tibia Mariner. He's on a boat. And he can summon in some boys. Screw your attack. One of the most ironic things to me about the Tibia Mariners is that the final Tibia Mariner is probably mechanically the easiest one to kill. That's what I get for fat rolling. Why am I fat rolling? Oh, because of this sword. Let's take that shield off. He still got me. Imagine getting hit by Tibia Mariner, yo. I'm surprised he hasn't teleported. I'm out of stamina. Not trying to get hit by that. Oh. I thought that was a kill him. He's got more health than I expected. Or maybe my damage is just that low. There we go. Deathroot. Skeletal militiaman ashes. Huge lore stuff right here. Oh, so we still have those who live in death that are active now? But since I still have the Sacred Blade buff, they will die permanently after being struck and killed. So this is not the right runes. They're further south, aren't they? I thought there were 2 spots to go in here. So, in this place, the Summon Water Village, we've got a bunch of like Deathroot around. So, one way to identify the Deathroot is they've got like fins on the roots themselves. Also, there are literal eyes in the Deathroot. And then after you defeat the Tibia Mariner, D, if you didn't go to a different region first, will just pop up next to this sprout of it right here. Yeah, I do think the summon that we just got from the Tibia Mariner is one of the strongest. I don't know if Tish is better. I think it's probably a little bit dependent. The human bone shard. Oh, we've got a dead commoner. Did I pick up an item from this dude? Heck. I don't think I did. Oh, it's this one over here, isn't it? I always forget where the things are for this one. Yep, so we got all the turtles. So you did need one of those. I thought we did, but I couldn't quite remember. So I can't get the really cool thing. Turtleneck meat. Yeah, the fact that the Tibia mariner or the skeletal militiaman can resurrect is extremely good for them. So that's that. Yeah, I always felt like there were 2 treasure pieces here. I just don't remember where the first one would be. So let's go ahead and rest, and then I will check out the lore. Hey Levo, how's it going? Do I have a specific build in mind that I'm going to bring to the DLC? I don't know. I feel like I'm probably going to see something really cool in the DLC and want to use that and probably just switch on the fly. So I might just run a pretty generic build to begin with until I go in. But at least for this character, when I come back to stream the DLC, I will probably stick with like the Confessor aesthetic and whatnot and do something related to whatever's going on with this. And then Amen, you're working on a Crucible Knight build? Yeah, I think I could probably fit Crucible stuff in here too with this dude. Let me look at what we just got. Alright, so skeletal militiaman ashes are ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, blah blah blah. These are the spirits of militiamen who live in death and will continue to rise again until properly finished off. This is the grotesque fate of those who come into contact with Deathroot. So from this we're told Deathroot produces those who live in death from the dead, go figure, and more specifically that somehow those who live in death have spirits. So those who live in death, unlike Godwin, seem to potentially have souls if you don't want to distinguish a difference between spirits and souls, which is a fair thing to potentially want to do, but for now, I don't think they're meant to be significantly different. So I'm just going to leave that as that. And then, oh yeah, Deathroot, that's what we got. This is a source that gives rise to those who live in death. The beast clergyman found at the bestial sanctum in the distant east collects and devours these roots. 1 second here. On the night of the dire plot, the stolen rune of death enabled the first death of a demigod. Later, the rune of death spread across the lands between through the underground roots of the great tree, sprouting in the form of Deathroot. So this is kind of where we run into a lot of issues with interpreting the lore of the English version of the game, because this taken in a vacuum, this is still problematic in Japanese, because it can make it sound as though the great tree and the Erdtree are different things, but I would make the argument that that's not the case. And so it's a little bit easier to talk about with root resin as well to bounce off of here, but as I said earlier on the stream, when you look at the Japanese description of the tree and beast coat, it's called the Great Tree and Beast Coat, and it says it depicts the distant Erdtree and the Beast Regent. And so if the Great Tree depicts the distant Erdtree, then I believe the Great Tree should be understood as the Erdtree. And so what the hell does that make? How does that make, what are they called? Deathroot make any more sense? It says Deathroot spread through the underground roots of the Erdtree, essentially. So underground roots equals Erdtree roots, essentially, is the takeaway there. And that's a little bit easier to make sense of when you also have the Prince of Death pustule or cyst, which say that Godwin was given Erdtree burial there. Yeah, Levo thought that those who live in death were soulless. I wondered about that for a long time, and then I had to really think about what are the mechanics of Spirit Ash summons. And then Amos is still not convinced that the damage on the walls of Stormvale is due to Deathroots. I don't blame you on that. It seems like it could have been a different thing. It seems like the Curse of the Thorns was meant to be different in earlier parts of the draft, and more associated with the Tarnished and not, but they changed things up. So that's Sunwater D taken care of. So I'm going to go teleport back down to the south, and then I'm going to go to Weeping Peninsula and the Fourth Church of Marika, or no, the Church of Pilgrimage, and get that last dialogue that ties into the third church dialogue there. And then I'll probably end the stream tonight after doing that. So I'll leave Hyetta up, or Arena up, for tomorrow's stream. And so I'm thinking tomorrow we'll go through like the Weeping Peninsula a bit, Castle Morn, then back up to talk to Alexander, Roderica, Bernal, and potentially Stormvale itself. And I'll also need to go into the, what are they called? I just lost my train of thoughts. Why did I rest? Bernal, Roderica. I needed to go somewhere else. I got distracted by that stone sword key. This is like, oh, now I can go get that favor talisman. Oh, yeah. I need to go into the mines to actually get upgrade items. So that way I can upgrade my weapon. Alright, so this is what I call a candle tree, because it is a spectral tree that looks like it has candles on it. And I think this is supposed to depict the Helfin. But if the Helfin ends up being something different entirely, it's not going to be too shocking to me. So if you examine these trees, a ghost will appear, and it'll walk to a cave, which I think might have renowned ashes. And this is something that I'm going to need to remember on stream here, to see like what we actually get from following these. But I'm not going to do that tonight on stream, because I'm running out of time. I won't deal with Maggie just yet. Where is our Spirit Spring? And then we've got our Shield of the Guilty. There's just like so much cool stuff everywhere. It's kind of annoying, because like a lot of it doesn't really matter if you're just trying to get through the game. But with a pseudo lore playthrough, I want to look at everything and talk about everything. So it's rough out here. Oh yeah, and I meant to level up my health. This is part of why I love the great swords. It's just they kind of wreck things from Torrent. Beast liver and sliver of meat, thin beast stones. Okay, so this is an important ghost right here.
Mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. O Marika, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child.
So his dialogue was slightly different in 1.0. I can't show that off. He says that it was an unwanted champion, but he says he was still like Marika's child or something like that. It's a little bit clearer. Anyway, there's a little bit of ambiguity in the Japanese as to whether or not this ghost is talking about a singular mausoleum and a singular demigod, or all of the mausoleums and all of the soulless demigods. So just keep that in mind. But we're told of other soulless demigods beyond Godwin, and they are all in the Wandering Mausoleums, which is very disconcerting because Godwin is said to have been the first dead of the demigods, the first soulless demigod, which would imply that all of them should have died after him. And they are in the mausoleums, which have a bit of Nox patterns on them. All right, before turning around in the graveyard, let me turn on the side of grace unless I die. I think I forgot to increase my flasks. You've got a Radagon statue that I'll look at in a moment here. A sacred tear. And in the Radagon affiliated places, you'll get golden centipedes. That's kind of a lie. You can pick them up in other places, but they're kind of represent the Golden Order, so that's kind of why I mentioned that now. Some more earthly flowers. I can't remember if this item is significant or if I just farmed here from enemies that dropped unique stuff. Blood grease. So they don't all have runes at their bases. Okay, good enough, I suppose. Yeah, so as far as like what's going on in Stormvale, it could have been Deathroot, but if it wasn't Deathroot, we just don't have the best of alternatives as what could have caused that damage. Because some of that stuff looks like it could have been done by meteors or claw marks, like by a dragon. I've wondered whether or not some of the fungus, or not fungus, thorns might have been like related to Melina beating Godric, but nothing truly matches 1-to-1 except for like the thorns on the Erdtree at times, which is even more of a head scratcher, I suppose, there. Yeah, Colossal Weapons on Torrent is rip indeed. Hey, Methoda, yeah, so this is kind of a fresh character for the stream, that when I do stream the DLC, I'll be rocking this boy. And then Throne says, maybe it's just Newman propaganda. Maybe. Alright, let's go talk to our gal Melina and get that last dialogue of them exiling Godfrey and the Tarnished. Oh, and I never increased, or not increased, but mixed my Wondrous Physic. And I didn't equip it, did I? Okay, I did. I'll just pull out a telescope instead. Alright, here we go.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
Alright,
Shall
so
I turn your runes to let my hand share
with her
them
dialogue there,
your thoughts, your ambition.
we get that two-part story that's Marika divests Godfrey and the Tarnished Warriors of Grace before she banishes them. But this is kind of like the two-parter to that dialogue, because it flows the most naturally from it that they will come back at some point, which is annoying to me that Marika has such a Megamind play at the beginning of things, but maybe the Tarnished were always plan B. And if not, one other running theory that I had is that if the Erdtree is set up based off of like human war sacrifices and whatnot, it would have been in Marika's best interest to send out a warring race to kill things and potentially bring runes outside of the lands between back to the lands between to try to continue to feed and fertilize the Erdtree. But that's just kind of a theory, and I don't like place a ton of faith in it there. So anyway, let's check out our statue of Radagon. That's him, alright. He's got a braid on his back, but also he's coming out of branches which are kind of reminiscent to the other statues of the dude that we can see around the lands between, that has a bunch of flowers kind of growing around him. And that's kind of also reminiscent in Radagon's icon, that imagery. But beyond all that, I do think this web of weird type thing behind Radagon is supposed to depict his Elden rune. And I believe these statues were crafted before he became not Elden Lord, but before the Shattering. So they're probably supposed to depict an Elden Lord with his rune, kind of like how Marika is posed with like a rune arc. Oh wow, I pissed this dude off. So it's because of these statues that I think Radagon probably altered the Elden Ring and put his rune into it. And that's why I think the Golden Order came later, amongst other reasons. So, that's pretty much going to be it for the lore of the night, guys. But you all know me, I'm a persistent bastard. I'm going to get revenge on that Erdtree Sentinel. And so, Amos asked me what level I'm going to start the DLC at. Oh wow, this is pretty at sunset. So the sun does move around the lands between, I guess, since we've got a good view of the ocean. Some people have wondered whether or not the sun... Oh, this is probably not the best angle for it. Whether or not the sun, like, kind of depicts a grace mimic. Or just a state of grace. It looks a bit more like that over in Liurnia, and then we get a bunch of boats in the background. So anyway... Yeah, this kind of looks maybe too saturated for the stream, but it looks a lot prettier on my actual monitor. Methoda asks, who is Marika talking to when she actually made her proclamation? I'm assuming that she's probably around a bunch of war criminals. Basically, the people who would follow her into war. Or maybe just denizens throughout the lands between who followed her and like settled the places. But with that being called the Church of Pilgrimage, there might be like a religious reason why they went that way. Maybe it's because it just followed America's warpath, which I guess we should talk about that. I didn't go down to the 4th Church of America here yet, but this is a Church of Pilgrimage, and then this one is the 3rd Church of America. I believe the number ordering of this would be like from America's conquest, from the land of the giants southward. So you'd go start from the mountaintops, go to Lanedell, then Stormvale, Limgrave region, then all the way south to Castle Morn would be one way to look at it. We don't actually have any churches of America in Caelid, oddly enough, and it's really weird that Liurnia was left to Radagon, so it makes me think that the Shadowlands must have, like, probably connected the lands between a bit more, or maybe there's more of a Pangea-type situation going on in the lands between, for America to skip Liurnia and Godfrey not conquer Liurnia, so Radagon would fight Renala. So, otherwise it just doesn't make much sense to me how Liurnia was left to its own devices. So I kind of hesitated because I forgot that my guy has a big ass windup on his first move. Actually need to pay attention, don't I? Rather than talking about lore. I'm looking at chat. I don't think I can catch this. Okay. So I remembered I can't punish the thrust. That's progress. I was out of stamina. I was still out of stamina. That was a bad move. Hopefully I don't get too tapped anymore. With that extra 40 health. Oh wow, that's okay, I couldn't even move. Ugh. And then Jordo, welcome back to the stream. You got a Dex Faith build that you want to say is your whole build? The Sights of Grace have a shimmering water effect at the bottom too. Could just be coincidental. Oh, like that thing? Yeah, I guess I never thought about it as watery, but I can see what you mean by that. Copy Ninja, welcome into the stream and Surf Illustrated. I like the play on words there. There's a Church of America in Northwest Caelid. I guess if you want to count the Smoldering Church, I can see it. In my headcanon, I consider the Smoldering Church part of Caelid just because it seems to be more in Limgrave. But it is. That is a fair correction to make. I got stuck. Oh, okay. That hurt. I thought it was gonna hit me before I could get up. Did not punish that. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought that was going to be a posture break. I'm out of stamina. I need to get better at dodging that one. Is this phase 2? There we go. I'm out. What? I have this, right? No. I called it. Out of stamina. Whew. Damn it. That's garbage. Thought so. Easy first try. Golden halberd. Yeah, I just have such a better feel for posture breaking with the larger weapons, which makes it easy to deal with. Talk to Melina. Here? Oh, because I went to Weeping Peninsula. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I could save that for next time. So we can level up a bit more, and we'll talk to Kale, buy some things, and end it there. You're so keen for the light greatsword? Why no HUD? It's more fun for like a lore playthrough. It's a bit more cinematic. Also a bit more what's the word? I don't want to say threatening. Not captivating, something like that. It's a little bit more edge of the seat. I can't think of the word.
Wait, weren't you? Well, you're back.
Tense, something like that.
Care to
Close
buy
to tense.
something?
Let's see what all I can buy. Holy water pot. Let's go to the glowstone thing. And I guess this, because it's expensive.
Goodbye.
And then we've got the summon water place to get more cracked pots from that merchant over there. Yeah, it is more tense not knowing how much HP I have and seeing if I like die when I don't think I'm going to. Just a little bit more, you know, struggle. Thanks for all the GGs, everybody. I appreciate that. Engaging. Yeah, that's a good word. And then Billy Deerhead, welcome on into the stream. Unfortunately, this is kind of the very tail end of the stream. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more cinematic that way. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be going live again today at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as per usual. I'll be streaming every day up until the DLC releases, except for maybe June 14th. I might have something going on. So what is that, Friday? Yeah, that should be Friday. So yeah, just a bit of a heads up there. But I should be able to stream June 14th, but I might not. And if so, I might just start late. So All right. That'll be it for me for tonight. Y'all stay safe. Take care. Last Protagonist out.